Great date. I was actually performing that night. We were at a club,
Oh yeah.
and it was a great night. I don't remember. I don't remember
The specifics.
too much about it, other than the fact my wife was there, my friends were there, me and my
Alright.
bandmates.
So we're live. Terrell's got some underwear on his bed. He's packing.
Oh,
Getting
wait,
draw.
what? Oh, no. No, those my gym shorts. I was
He's
so
like, oh
confused.
shit.
I was like, what?
Close enough.
I don't got no drawers on here, do I? Damn.
No. These are gym shorts. These are gym shorts.
It don't look like you're any more packed.
No, I am. But it's all the shit that was in these dressers and shit because no one wants to move a dresser full of shit.
I didn't
Actually,
move.
hold on. Maybe I can show it. If I lift up a little bit, you'll see a bunch of
Oh,
tubs.
shit. New angle. Oh.
There's a bunch of tubs down there.
I
It
didn't
has a
move
bunch
into
of
my
shit
house
in
for
it.
like 3 months because we had to completely redo the bathroom because it was non-functional, and then just carpet and paint all over, and yeah, it was like, damn, I didn't know it'd be that much work, but I was comfortable at my parents' house at the time. I was in no hurry. I didn't have shit.
I'm in a similar position.
I
Although
didn't have I didn't have a couch. I didn't have a TV. I had nothing.
My mother has given me her couch, so we moved that over yesterday and a couple of chairs. So the living room actually looks like a living room. But I haven't gotten the carpet down in the main rooms yet, which is why I haven't moved any of this major stuff in here. And then what else? Oh, I tried to get the fucking internet cut on, and they were like, "Oh, well, it's raining. We're not getting up on that line if it's a thunderstorm." I'm like, "Fuck me." So now I got to reschedule it.
So you're gonna have like
and
an office room, or you're gonna have
that's the idea. I'm gonna have the master bedroom will be just sleeping and shit, pretty much. And then the other room will be focused on just streaming. Like I want to essentially have kind of what T has currently in his thing, where I have a shelf behind me and all my shit, my games or amiibo, because they're not getting any other use, so I might as well have them as a decoration or something. And maybe a couple of the posters. I don't know if I'll get all of them up there, but maybe a couple of them. So
that'd be nice.
I need to buy a bookshelf.
That'd be nice for you. You don't have to stream out of your bedroom.
Yeah,
because an adult, man. That's an adult.
I also want a fucking real gamer chair. For those, I mean, most people already know. I've been using this bed as a chair the whole time.
That bed's got to be dipped on that side.
Oh no, it is. It is. I already said I'm getting a new bed, so I'm not even worrying about that.
I didn't even think about that. You sit on your bed the whole time. It just hit me.
Mm-hmm. It is not the most comfortable
That's not
thing.
Good for your back probably either.
Hey, listen. It didn't bother me we've been doing the podcast for how long?
Like 6 years.
I think those first 3 to 4 it didn't bother me, and then the last couple I was like, yeah, I need to do something about this. So it'll be nice to have a quality gamer chair to sit in, or just a chair at this point. Also, hi Robert.
Hello.
Call of Duty 3 and what else?
It's like you just took your head off the pillow, put your glasses on, and turned on your camera.
I could.
No, I just took a shower actually.
Okay. Is that Scarlet Nexus, man?
Yeah, man.
Wasn't that one's like
Astral Chainisk?
Yeah,
Astral Chainisk.
Astral Chainisk. It's a whole new genre. It's a whole new genre.
Some people say they like that.
I heard some people say, the people that I've heard play it was like, oh man, it's really good. So I mean, see what that means.
See if they're lying or not.
Yeah.
You said that shit about Astral Chain.
Which is
everyone raves about Astral. I mean, Astral Chain's a good game, but
I'm just
some of the missions going back to them was just like, man, I really let this mission slide because I was looking forward to, getting further into the game. But there's some like, what was it? You had to like carry people out slowly, one at a time, and like it was just like time wasting shit, and I get it, they're trying to do something different than just all action all the time, but it just really hurt me trying to 100% the game when I had to go through some of these levels again. My first playthrough I was like, yeah, this is great, but my second time trying to go through missions, it really hurt my thoughts on the game. So maybe I
kind of like how I feel with Spider-Man, man. Remember, the first time I thought it was great. The second time I was like,
And Odyssey was the opposite. My second playthrough I liked it even more, where I just basically just enjoyed the story, the main stuff, and I realized I didn't need to do all that coin farming and shit for all the costumes. Take that out of there, and it's way more enjoyable.
Second playthrough,
I was trying to like get every costume, so at one point I was just replaying the same like best farm like coin farming levels.
Same. That's what I did.
And it really brought my opinion down on the game because I'm just doing the same tedious shit. But then when I just did like a fresh playthrough, I was like, man, this is better than I even remembered because it was
no kid gamers, no children gamers with these second playthroughs and shit.
Bro, well, that's one of the games. Odyssey is one of the games that I it's the only 3D Mario. Well, other than Sunshine, I haven't. It's the one that I haven't finished, but it's like everyone I would always say like you got 100%. It's so fucking good, 100%. Like that's the one Mario game I would be like, don't 100% it. Just play through the game, and you're gonna play one of the best games.
Yeah, get some of the costumes that you really want, and then don't For me, that's where
it's really, like 100%ing Breath of the Wild.
That was well. We found out after the fact that they spent like 9 months just adding shit to it, adding costumes, adding moons, and it's like I would have rather
which is cool, but
I would have rather had their more focused, first completion when they thought it, when it was initially done. I would probably have preferred just that. Now I don't mind. I like extra stuff to do, but when it's not like new levels and stuff, then it's, or it's not finding something like the green stars in Galaxy 2. Like that was a fun challenge. Even though there's a couple that were so freaking hard, like Yoshi, that I gave up for a couple years. But once I went back, it was fine. Anyway, so we had the partnership direct, and we didn't say the name of the game, but we pretty much all kind of thought there was going to be another port of a newer game, which would be Nier Automata or Automata. Or how did they say it in the direct? Like
Automata
or something.
But no, that's not true. I say Nier Automata. I don't know.
I used to say Automata, but
I guess I say both now I think about it.
But that's pretty much
tomato. Who gives a shit?
That's pretty much the type of game I was referring to. So that's but I would have never guessed that game, to be honest, because it's Square and
because it's 10 years old.
And that game didn't really run that great when it came out on Xbox.
It didn't?
No,
I didn't. Actually, the PC port was kind of notorious too. Actually,
so we'll see how it ends up, but it looked all right in the trailer. It didn't look anything massively downgraded. So
I mean, I have the game on PS4. It's one of those titles that other than I guess optimization, the environments ain't doing nothing crazy enough.
It looked kind of bland.
That's what I was saying. That's why I'm surprised because enemies don't look that crazy to me.
It's not. Well, let me first that. I would say the majority of the game is, but there's a couple sections where it gets kind of nuts. And I think they already confirmed it to be 30 FPS, and I think most people
no shit, Sherlock.
Hey, listen, you said
it's 30.
It's 1080p on dock.
Yeah, it will be 1080p though.
I bet that's their target. I bet
it's probably the target.
1080 unless you're looking at the sky.
Yeah, it's probably.
But don't you think there should be like a in between, man, like an in between mode that
like 900p or some shit.
Not even. Just give me 720 and do, if you could do 45 frames per second. I don't know. So I don't know. Like that's what they did with the whole Ratchet, right?
But the Switch doesn't. It's only HDMI 1.4. I don't even think it can. It can't even. In order to do 40 and have it look the best, you have to go into 120 hertz mode.
Also, why did Ratchet do that? Because I would think Ratchet could just hit 60.
No, they did the ray tracing. They bumped it up.
Oh, that's what it was.
So if you have a 120 hertz TV, then 40 is an equal.
Wait,
it's a third of 120, so it's easier for your to do 40 than 30. There has to be conversion to get it to 30 because it's not an even.
Wait, so which mode do you remember is the 40?
It's the ray tracing mode.
The
30 mode, the highest.
You talking about the performance ray tracing?
No, the main ray tracing mode that was 30. They bumped it up to 40 because they had the headroom, and then I think the performance ray tracing is 60.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what I
and if
figured
you
because
have the TV,
I played on performance ray tracing and it was totally 60, but I was just thinking on the 4K mode, it totally looked 30 to me for sure.
yeah, because you
It's
have
a-
to have a 120 hertz
oh, you
TV
have
hooked
to.
up with
Okay, that you
HDMI
have. So if I did it on
2.1.
the monitor that I have in front of me, which is
No.
100.
Your
No,
monitor probably doesn't have HDMI 2.1 support. That just
I don't
came
even
out
know.
last year on
Mm.
monitors.
All right then.
DisplayPort can handle it all, but
Yeah, so it's like very, very specific things
yeah,
that.
very basically
Oh,
gotta have
okay.
an LG OLED because that's pretty much the
DisplayPort, I was gonna
standard
say.
for HDMI
Mm,
2.1 displays.
Is there
okay.
HDMI to DisplayPort?
No,
No, I thought there's an
No.
you might be able to
adapter.
have an adapter. I doubt you're gonna.
Yeah.
I doubt.
But
it's
will you
gonna-
get 60
I
at
doubt
that
the
point?
PS5 is gonna recognize that.
I would
Right.
doubt it. I would agree.
So
They probably wouldn't.
But anyway, that would be cool for like Switch, but it has to have HDMI 2.0.
I didn't know that. I thought
for
you could just
120
kinda-
hertz support. So Switch is just Nintendo cut as much corners as they could, and who knows?
Yeah,
if
that's
it-
right, Donnie. Steam Deck might run it real well.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
So
40 hertz mode, baby. 40 hertz mode.
yeah, I was
You can play
listening
it now,
to
anyway.
Digital Foundry Direct, and they were talking about how nice it is to have the options, to have the battery life what you want, like he's been saying, and they said the 40 hertz mode is like it's great because that helps gives you way better battery life than 60, but it still looks good and has the
On the screen, it feels like 40 or 60. So.
But some people, they don't want to hear any logical stuff like that because the Switch can't do that.
I see where we're going already. All right, boys.
No, we're not doing that.
Let me strap myself in with my sheets. Hold on.
Some
Just a
people
quick
like
shout
to
out.
have some infinite shit
Oh,
talking of the Steam Deck.
oh shit.
Damn, yeah.
Oh
Because it
my
threatens the
God.
Switch, even though it never will sales-wise, but it's still, for people, there's been multiple people saying that it kind of fills that need that the Switch had for them because they weren't playing mostly Nintendo games. They were using it to play third-party games on the go. So
Yeah.
Maybe the Switch
my
is
point about
the
it is
Switch.
like-
The Switch is
Oh,
just becoming a shadow of its former self or something.
Well, it's like Switch. There's a couple reasons why it can't. Obviously, Switch was at 107 million sold by the time the Steam Deck came out, so it makes no sense to try to compare it and say, "Oh, it's Switch killer." Anybody who did that just wanted clicks and shit. That was just clickbaity stuff. But I will say, Switch 2 might have some. The Steam Deck might have something to say to that because if you're not doing what the Steam Deck does with Switch 2, you're gonna look real weak. As far as I'm concerned, and all the complaints about Steam Deck, battery life, blah blah blah. You don't think the Switch 2 is gonna have that with higher fidelity games and all that kind of stuff? So I would temper myself with all this talk.
When did the
Because I'm gonna
OLED
have receipts.
The OLED is
October 2021.
Yeah, it's only about a year.
Yeah, because
it's only a year old.
I made a video and I even asked Shadow Fox this, and I couldn't get a straight answer.
Sorry.
I said Nintendo put in the more efficient, whatever the Tegra, whatever version that was, is like the second iteration that was way more efficient. And with the OLED screen being slightly more efficient, the battery life was even better. And I said, well, why don't you give me the option to take the Switch out of the dock and have it not change at all? Keep the exact same settings of dock, RAM, clock speed for GPU, CPU. Well, of course, I just said CPU, GPU, and I was brought up, well, the RAM runs slower. Well, have the RAM run at the same speed as docked. Give me that full docked experience in my hand, 3 to 4 hours battery life. Give us the option. What is the negative there? People can just toggle it on or off. They can decide for themselves. Because that OLED screen, everyone says how good it looks. You know how much better it would look if games were actually running at the native resolution than dipping down in the 540s, 480s, 360p's in handheld mode. Like, I mean, I think Dread for the most part hits 720 in handheld, but bump up some settings then, add some anti-aliasing, do something. Lock the frame rate even more if it has any dips. I just don't see why that would be even challenged by any Switch fan. Like, what would you have against that?
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be challenged by it.
Well,
that's the bullshit of the whole
If
situation.
you ask the question,
all this stuff they're talking about, they would not say a goddamn thing if it was on the Switch.
If Nintendo
Switch
actually did it, yeah.
Right. It's just nonsense. And they know it. Don't be a fanboy.
Yeah, I don't understand the against options idea. Don't use it. Get your 9 hours or 7 hours, 8 hours, whatever battery life. If you're happy with that,
And
then...
excuse me, Breath of the Wild on the original Switch, what you got? Maybe 3 hours out of it?
It's just under 3 hours.
Yeah, it was like 3.5
so
or something. I thought
I get 2 hours out of what's the game I'm playing on? Jedi Fallen Order. I get 2 hours out of that on high settings, PC settings. Fuck. That's good enough for me.
Apparently, they're doubling production of the Steam Deck.
Yeah, it's selling really well. They double production. They're ahead of schedule with the shipments. Like this ain't going anywhere. This ain't no Iron Neo. People want to compare it to.
I bet it's already outsold all those.
And all this other bullshit. It's all sold those things combined. Like no, those are really niche. None of those have Steam.
Bucks.
That's the difference. And they're $1,200, and they don't have Steam on them, or you can get Steam on. But I mean, the Steam Deck is trying to be a console experience. Like, yeah, you can do all that other stuff if you want, but when you turn that bitch on and you run Steam OS, it is a console, and that's why it's different than Iron Neo will ever be, because you got Windows and shit right in your face when you start the shit up. So it's different. It's the same, but it's different.
All right, so let's get to the Direct. We already got people who were saying they didn't like it. I don't know. I haven't heard any of that, but okay. I don't know why. It's like when people say the Directs are amazing, I'm like, and this one I was like, man, not as a Direct Mini, that was definitely the best Direct Mini, I thought.
Yeah,
right there.
That was really good. I was
right there with
the
2019
surprised, to be honest.
that we went over last week's podcast. That was solid. I thought this one was just as solid. It didn't have a bunch of like really shitty looking filler games like the DC superhero girls and like stuff like that.
Hey man, that's published by Nintendo, man.
Just all this.
It is
cringe,
weirdly enough.
Like
that was better
time-filling bullshit. Get this out of here type games. I didn't feel that about one game. Now I did skip ahead because I didn't watch it live.
It wasn't live. It wasn't live. They just posted it.
Yeah,
they literally just posted the video. That was it.
Same way you would post a video. That's all they did.
Because the Monster Hunter, I don't play Monster Hunter. I know it's DLC looks good, but I didn't sit there and watch that. Like.
Oh yeah, of course. If it ain't for you, it ain't for you.
But yeah, I mean, I gave it like an 8.5, just period out of 10. Nier's a good. It's it's on the borderline of being older, but I think it came out 2017, pretty early.
Yeah.
Same year the Switch came out. So yeah, it came later than it should have, but
took 5 years. But
hey, listen, it gets points for just being fucking native. Fuck you.
It's probably the less
right.
Oh, that's literally Square's game, isn't it? Isn't it so stupid?
Yeah. I don't understand Square. And then they fucking
so
and then they end the damn and then one of the games at the latter half of the damn partner direct is like essentially it looks like what is it called? Australia? It's not
Harvest.
Oh, Harvestelia. I'm sorry, Harvestelia. And I'm like, Square, you confuse me so much. You'll give me exclusive. You'll give me exclusive experiences. Then you'll put Kingdom Hearts on cloud, and then I don't understand, dog.
Makes no sense.
I don't get it.
Should we go in order?
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah, let's.
Okay, so
I mean, Monster Hunter. So if we're gonna, Monster Hunter was first. It's Monster Hunter. It looks great. It's doing well, and the DLC looks fucking beautiful.
And they said they're gonna have free content updates till 2023. Like, there's a lot of these damn Switch games that they're like, hey, by the way, we're still going to the end of 2023. Yep. Like, yo, relax.
That's why I changed my thoughts on when the next system's coming out.
Yeah.
Even the Xenoblade thing, they had the end of 2023.
Oh yeah, they fucking know, dude. I think it's already been. I think the third party developers are 100% aware. Hey, look, we got at least another full year of just Switch content. So if you wanna,
Now, how bad would it be if they're just ramping up production on new Switch games, right? Switch 2 games, let's say, and all you're getting next year's Breath of the Wild 2, right? Awesome, but then just a bunch of DLC shit.
Oh, Bayonetta 3 too. Unless
That
they
would be like,
push for the next Switch, unless they hold
yeah,
it.
that's right.
That ain't coming out
Yeah,
this year, I guarantee it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I was more confident until this direct where you saw a bunch of October games flying. I'm like,
Yeah,
huh?
there's too many games for.
I'm like, if you, I'm like, even if
the convention either. Too many.
Yeah,
games.
because I'm like, hey,
No.
if you put the amount of games that are in October, I'm like, there really ain't no more free months because November is Pokemon month, obviously, and I don't think they would dare put Bayonetta out in December. That just doesn't seem smart. So I'm
No, I
like,
actually do think they could, man. I do.
They
think
might. They might.
I
could
think that's
see
a fine
Nintendo
decision.
doing that.
I see it a February, March game.
that would make more sense.
Why
Like,
do
if
you
it
think
get
that
put-
makes more sense?
Well, I
feel
agree
like,
it would make more
Just
sense,
'cause all
but
the
I
games
wouldn't
that
put
are
it past
coming
Nintendo. Put that bitch out in December out of nowhere.
And having more, trying to fill out their 2023 lineup.
yeah, I guess it's for 2023, right?
Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
a situation where it's like Tropical Freeze, where it was finished and it initially was planned for like 2013, and then it got pushed to 2014, even though it was done. They
Oh
just,
man, 2023 gonna be crazy. You gonna have Breath of the Wild 2. You gonna have
Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid Prime 4. You gonna have Pikmin 4. You gonna have.
To be fair,
oh
though,
my
to
god.
be fair though, remember in 2017 they had Xenoblade in December, so I feel like they could put
Right.
a
They put
Bayonetta in
yeah,
December.
Yeah, but they
it's
didn't
not like
have
they're
a
afraid of
massive
December.
game in November.
And
They
then
put a big,
and in
massive
2018
game.
they put Smash in December. You think
They
that'd
put
be a November
Smash in
title?
December, so
You
it's
think-
not. They put Smash and Xenoblade in December, so it's not
To
crazy.
be fair, I think Smash would have sold no matter what month you put it in. To be fair, with
But
at
I
least
think
to that one.
I think we're done. I truly believe
Yes,
we're done
but-
with the whole months will sell this and that. Like, bro, Elden Ring sells a bajillion in February.
February. Like,
March
nobody put games
in
out in
January, Pokemon sells a bunch. You know, like December
Yeah,
Smash
it's
sells a bunch. You know, it
January
doesn't
for
matter.
Pokemon.
Like, it doesn't matter when games come out anymore. Like, it doesn't matter.
I think it only,
They
no.
don't care
So
about
I would
They
somewhat
definitely don't
disagree.
care about the Game Awards. Fuck
I
off.
would somewhat disagree. It depends on what else is coming out in the same month. That's what I would say.
But that's what I'm saying. Okay, but that means
that's
that
why it's
game that you were
March.
just talking about will sell a lot. So it doesn't
No,
matter
no,
what
that's
month you put out.
I'll give you an example using Elden Ring as the example. Horizon, let's be real here, kind of got cannibalized by Elden Ring because literally Elden Ring was that game even though they came out so close to each other.
No, but what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter the month necessarily.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
It doesn't if there's nothing coming out in December, I think they could put it in December and it'd be fine. You know, I don't think anything's gonna
No, we
happen.
don't even know when the fuck Advance Wars is. I mean, yeah, Advance Wars.
That
is
could be
coming out, yeah.
December too.
Advance Wars could be December. Goddamn.
Oh,
Advance
my
Wars
Lord.
December, man.
I feel bad for that game. That game's been done for probably like almost a year at this point, and it's just
Probably
like, hey.
more than I would bet it's
No,
more
remember
than
they delayed it initially because it wasn't ready, or maybe it was
Yeah.
a timing.
Yeah,
thing.
they already had one delay.
That's
had
right,
nothing to
that's
do with
right,
the
that's
war.
right,
But
that's
Nintendo's they do delay for timing, so that's why I know December's been a month they've done. I'm just saying that's not where I put my money
Okay.
for Bayonetta.
Yeah, I would think early next year if you're.
I think certain games they wouldn't put out in December, but I think a Xenoblade, I think a Bayonetta even.
I think Bayonetta is like
I
the
think they
tier of
would
around there.
put it
So
out because it's already people are clamoring for it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what,
Nobody's clamoring for. Yeah, you're gonna get some sales for people nostalgia for Advance Wars, but people are clamoring for Bayonetta 3. You can put that bitch out in June. On Juneteenth, and people will fucking go buy that game. Oh, I'm celebrating Juneteenth with Bayonetta, I guess. You know, so it won't matter.
all right,
Yeah.
what else came out?
Right after Monster Hunter's Nier, and we already kind of talked about Nier.
That's October, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
it's October 6th.
Let me put the direct down then. Sure.
Right after that is Lorelei and the Laser Eyes.
That looks
Wait.
dope, man.
I have
It's
to relook at
Annapurna. It's
that
gonna be
one.
good. It's Annapurna. It's gonna be good. That's all I know.
I saw it, but it was just kind of a weird thing, especially because like
That's
I
what
guess
I'm
it-
talking to.
it's I mean it's fine. That's the best way I could describe it. Like, hey, look, it's a cool trailer. It's fine.
It is
And
a
then
cool try. I quite like it.
And then after that, we get to like
Oh.
classic game announcements. Well, not classic IP character announcements. I'll say that.
We didn't talk about the exclusive costumes either for Nier.
Oh, the
Oh, yeah.
kimono and the fuck. I can't.
They said that was
Why
just
is that exclusive to the Switch? This is so random.
Hey, that's
I guess.
something.
I
Clapper
mean,
says
at
he's
least,
double dipping. I don't know why,
I
but
guess.
I own it and I haven't finished it yet, so I feel like I shouldn't just off of
is this
that.
the game you were just talking about?
Yeah, this is the
Yeah,
Annapurna
that's the
game.
one. Yeah.
It's like an adventure game, but then it also has like weird twisted, like almost turns into like PS1 type visuals. It's very strange.
Yeah, didn't
Thought
they,
it was.
didn't
I
they
thought it was like
describe
a
this
remake or
as
something.
like a visual novel thing?
No,
No,
no.
it's like a maze puzzler. I thought.
Oh, one of them they said it. I think they said it in the beginning.
Yeah, the one of them
No,
is
no, you're talking about later. It's not.
look at this, and it goes to
Yeah.
like a PS1 horror type S game. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, like I thought it was like almost thought it was a remake personally.
And do we know what this is?
2023 though.
On?
2023. Yeah, it doesn't have like.
There was a couple of 2023s.
Yeah, they threw a couple of
It's like
2023s.
you just
in
said,
there.
coming out for the end of the by the end.
Oh,
of the
they're
year.
always full of shit.
Always, man.
So the next 3 games are all like from classic IP.
I
So
was
this
surprised
one,
with this Super Bomberman.
I'm
Part 2.
happy. I'm happy about it because at least I like to call this Nintendo's Bomberman. It's not really, but I call it that because if for those who know the story behind this, the first game was literally Nintendo was like, "Hey, you want to make a fucking a game for the Switch launch?" And this is what they ran with. And I guess through
You want
this
to make
version,
a finished game for
What's
this
Retro Death think of this? He's a big.
it wasn't.
Bomberman fan.
Listen, I own this. Listen, I own this game. It's not a bad game,
Oh, I
but
have
I
it
do.
too.
But
I
I
played
agree
a lot.
with.
I liked it.
But I agree with T. It very much wasn't
It had
finished.
some issues.
And then they
excited for
fucking
you.
created that online version. And then and I guess they were like, well, we made enough money, we can make a sequel for it.
Yeah, I mean that's cool, man. As long as fucking Konami does some shit. So.
And this
the
game,
ne-
wouldn't this game just be on the freaking
Like-
Nintendo Switch Online?
No,
that would be
this is
that
GBA
would be.
games.
You know the irony of that though, that if you look, they also announced like this month's Nintendo Switch Online games, and one of the games is Mega Man and the Wily Wars, and I was like, okay,
But
I
there
guess
was leaked that the Game Boy Advance.
Didn't
was
somebody
part of it.
say? When
What?
you guys
This
say
is
something
dope.
about,
A Pac-Man World remake, a full-on remake.
Oh, what'd you say, T?
I was just gonna say, didn't somebody say it'd be nice to have a new Mega Man game or something?
I did mention that, but
The
you know
week
what? Oh,
before the podcast,
but
day
here's
before
the
podcast?
kicker. I looked it up. You know what I found interesting about the Mega Man Battle
This
Network
is a
collection?
remake?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
remake of a PS1 game. You
Yeah,
know what I
it's
found interesting?
PS1. I thought it was the game. I was thinking GameCube.
That's what I
one
thought
I played was
originally.
Pac-Man World 2. That's on GameCube.
But you know the interesting thing about the Mega Man collection that threw me off? It's not coming to Xbox. It's
Yeah,
the
I'm
only.
like, what's up with that?
Yeah, it's the only. It's the. I was like, oh, so this is PS4 and or PlayStation and Nintendo for whatever reason. The Pac-Man remake is cool because I know a lot of people like Pac-Man World. That might be my reason for trying it. And then I found out it comes out in like fucking. I think it comes out in August. By the way,
This is cool. Look at Blanc.
I don't
yo.
think I ever played one, so I might get it just because of that. I played
Yeah.
2.
yeah. Blanc, I visually looks cool as hell.
Yeah, and there's apparently
This
no
is, I love
dialogue.
this.
Yeah,
This is gorgeous.
that's gonna be a fun game. You could play it online with somebody too, so you can play
Yeah.
locally or online with
Yeah.
someone.
Oh, you can? Okay.
It Takes Two, Part 2.
Yeah, it takes two.
much.
Oh hell!
Wolf edition. Are they wolves?
It takes two to make the thing go right.
February
Be
2023.
careful with that.
What?
Be
What happened in
careful
2022?
Singing that. I got
I know.
booted.
I know.
I got booted for singing that shit. On,
I thought this was
YouTube.
gonna be Sea of Thieves coming. to
Me too.
Switch.
I'm not even lying, I thought that-
It did look like that to me, dog. I saw it.
And this is the. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a
Kraken's
genuine.
lagging,
There's a
though,
decent
so.
amount of like new games here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this being Return to Monkey Island kind of threw me off.
Like I know you have like you got some ports and you got some remake stuff, but there's genuine new games here. So I don't know. I
then,
that's
like I
why
said,
I think it was a nice.
Aren't the,
Nice
weren't
variety.
the developers or something getting harassed?
For what?
Yep.
No.
He for the art style.
Over this, right? Yeah.
For the art style.
Oh,
and
'cause the
guy-
art style
guy's
looks so
like,
different.
"All
It
right,
does
you know
look
what?
very
know.
much like Guacamelee.
I'm like,
Guacamelee.
man, people need to.
This is another one, by the way, that is PC and Switch launch.
Yeah.
Actually, so is Blanc. Blanc is too.
Yeah.
That was also because they were sending dick pics
Huh?
What?
to the developers of God of War 2 or God of War Ragnarok
Why?
What?
because they want to know some information when that game coming out. They all
How was that?
I'm like, you think you're gonna get an answer by sending a dick pic?
Is that a threat or what? I don't understand what it's supposed to do.
I don't understand it at all.
Maybe he,
but that's just embarrassing shit about
Maybe he
being
didn't know that one guy
gamers.
got fired for soliciting underage.
I would think
boys.
I think it's common sense you would get fired for any provocative pics. Like what the fuck? Yeah, that's fucking. Yeah, that's just weird. That's the real.
It's embarrassing to be called a gamer.
2022.
Shit like that.
Yeah, that comes out this year, and then I think the next thing is that train game I saw.
That one. I skipped
the train game.
Past that one.
It's like rail grade or something, and I was like, it's
maybe that's why I rate this so high.
No. Next is Mario and.
Oh no, Mario Rabbids. My bad. Which, by the way, then proceeded to get a fucking its own little showcase the next day.
Yeah, I wanted to watch that still. I forgot all about it.
I'm down with the new gameplay mechanic, but I don't know, man. I like the grid shit, so I don't know. I'm kind of confused.
Honestly,
I'm half and half with it.
Yeah, I'm half and half. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm glad they're actually trying to do something different, but
I need to fucking play it. I think that's where I'm at with it. It's funny because I think it was like Retro and Clock that were both like, I need to finish this game, and I'm like, how did y'all not finish the game initially?
Robert Rule 2.
I didn't finish him, yo.
What is going on?
Mr. Rabbids didn't finish this,
bro. I got halfway, and then it's it's 2017, man. That was a fucking trash year for me. So it's just like that was
chasing the tail year where you're chasing
man.
The tail.
So
was it that year?
It was that year. I remember.
Dang, time flies.
Because you know why? Because we were fucking playing games and Robert was like,
where's Robert? He never played
Robert was like, I'm talking about this girl, man.
He finally comes on and talks for an hour about his girl problems.
And we were all sitting there going, I was like, I'll say, this is what this is going to be. The fuck?
I don't know.
But yeah, they did it. They actively went out of their way to change the mechanics, and I like
it.
I
think it looks cool, though.
I need to play it. That's where I'm at with it.
I love the galaxy
stuff, to the grid stuff. It's like, that's a big change. So.
I think the whole like knocking over bombs and picking them up and throwing them and shit in the same movement. That shit is smooth as hell.
Right. So I'm gonna lose what I'm used to and but I might gain a whole nother thing.
I'm glad they didn't go for a safe sequel in the terms of because they could have easily, especially because Ubisoft is known to do that. I mean,
and that comes out October.
Yeah, October 20th, which is one of the reasons why I said I don't think you're gonna put Bayonetta this year because you're not
shit.
I thought this was Square Enix.
That's a third-party game.
That's a third-party game. Yeah,
I thought that was Square Enix, but it's not.
It's not. It looks like Bravely Default.
It looks like Bravely Default. Yeah, that's too.
but that's another one that's only on PlayStation, and Switch. For some reason,
I can see this, but
it's too Japanese. That's why.
Right. I just don't understand.
This reminds me of like
Mega Man is
something that would have been on the 3DS back in the 3DS.
And then here's the train. Here's the train game.
You know what's funny? Like Railgrade is something.
That might be why. To you.
When I was younger, there was this game on Xbox 360, this indie game that was train simulator, or railroad simulator, and I would just make a bunch of tracks that you're supposed to make tracks, but I'm making roller coasters out of these things, but they're not really supposed to be roller coasters. And
so I'm sure when I was younger, you turn the game into Roller Coaster Tycoon? Is that what you fucking did?
Also, this looks dope as hell.
This looks dope as fuck. Yep. What's the other game that has a similar kind of setup to this, where you're like,
I can't remember the name of it. But you're
talking about that game looks fucking awesome.
This game does
like Curious Squire or some shit
like a 2D side scroll. It's like an open world 3D.
What the fuck? Yeah,
that game does nothing for me. Like that's a
really?
That's a hard pass for me. That's an easy.
A hard pass? Wait, a hard pass?
Yeah.
Not even like a light pass. A hard pass?
Look at those flowers popping in there in the immediate close distance here.
Oh no! We had
to stop with that bullshit.
I'm gonna do
this game is not gonna run well. This game is not gonna run well on Switch. Or
it doesn't run. Listen,
I think we knew that before anything.
From what I keep understanding,
bad.
I need to see. Apparently, this is all early build shit from what I've been hearing.
I keep hearing that from you Sonic fans. It's all
choppy.
This is definitely going to be one of those where you got everyone after the fact. It's just like, don't get the Switch version.
Oh no, they're going to do that now.
But it's going to run fine.
Will you? I always that animation's so janky. That one where she's spinning around, dude. He literally look. if you go back,
This
he's
is
literally
by
just
the way, first
yeah,
time I'm
doesn't
seeing
move.
actual level footage.
Yeah,
this
it
looks good
is.
though.
And the first time that irked the shit out, and the two things that stood out to me is that highway level looks pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it does. And why would they wait until Nintendo's
highway
thing
level
to show this
yeah,
shit?
interesting.
show it in
Because
its
Nintendo
worst
fans are the
light.
most likely to buy Sonic products at this point. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't.
Also-
You could. It's still coming on Nintendo. You could still have shown some of this stuff.
You know the
Before
thing that bothered
Nintendo.
me? You know the thing that bothered me? It wasn't even the highway level. It's the fucking, oh, look, there's Green Hill in the background. Like,
It's Green Hill.
no!
Boom. Bye.
Not again!
Dude, I like
Dude,
that highway stuff though. That
The
looks
highway level
really
does
clean.
look cool, and it actually looks like I think it just falls
This
into what
looks
people
like-
were saying.
No shit, this looks like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in handheld mode, and I'm sure this is docked footage.
You think?
Alright, that's
What?
what
I didn't think it looked
reminds
nearly as bad as you're saying, man.
How?
I was actually surprised at
I'm
how good
looking
it
at
looked.
directly off my 1080p monitor.
How do you get? I don't
And
know how
this
you get
looks-
Xenoblade 2 Chronicles footage out of that.
I'm talking
I honestly
about
thought it
portable
looked
mode.
surprisingly really
I would
good.
disagree highly.
This
He's trying to
looks
hate on it, make it
really
look like
bad.
you got Vaseline smeared
This
across.
Really bad.
This is
I
As
one
don't
of
someone
the
who
worst
played it,
looking Switch games I've seen visually.
Holy what?
What?
I would
Are you
honestly
serious?
Bottom
say
10
like
easily.
almost the opposite, yo.
I would highly
Not counting
disagree.
just all these all the random indie games and stuff. I'm talking about like.
Like I think the
major
rain
games.
and the what do you call it, the
Well, I'm thinking like
Man,
in
look
terms
at
of like
those
the third party
trees.
stuff, like
This looks bad.
I don't know.
This looks bad for me.
I
Man.
would.
But
I would
so that animation when he spirals up, he doesn't
I
even
mean,
move.
look
It
at that.
just
Look
looks
at
weird.
this.
but it looks pretty good for Switch, I would think.
Look at that.
Be
But
lucky
look
if
at
this
that
hits
though.
32. That's my prediction.
I think it'll hit 30, but the draw distance and pop is gonna
saying
be the main
20.
problem.
2025. That's what I'm predicting.
Well, I need to see a later build. I'm not even.
Yeah,
gonna play
maybe the
this game.
finished product, but we'll see.
Yeah, I hate the fact
Based
that they're
on
using
this.
early built footage. I think that's what bothered me more than anything else.
They stretched themselves thin on this game. They're putting this shit on everything, including your toaster. So
Well, after
I don't think they have the.
listen.
Right.
After the debacle with
This
Sonic
looks
Origins,
clean, though, if that's
and then
actually
ru-
in game.
I mean,
And
that's
then-
actually in game. That's like, I don't know, strange.
you talking about the Disney stuff?
Mhm.
That'd be
Actually, it does look
strangely
good.
clean for
It does
sure.
look good,
way
by
too
the-
good. Way too
By the way,
good.
I think that's been also Nintendo exclusive.
This is
Disney art
probably
style.
like, yeah, it doesn't look as good.
No, never mind. I'm lying.
This is probably
It's-
the weakest part of the direct for me. This one. This
Yeah, probably. I mean, I know.
I will
I
say-
think
you know what?
Retro was
You-
liking this, I believe.
You say
Retro was
that,
liking this
But
game.
this was like a clean, cool looking.
it
game.
looked better than what I thought it was going to look like, which
I
was
don't know.
ass.
Gameplay wise, I'm not feeling.
I was
it.
It's
surprised
just-
at how many farming simulators there were, though.
Yeah, essentially, it's
Is
like
this like
Animal Crossing.
Animal-
There's
yeah.
so many simulators, so many farming games, bro.
A lot of farming stuff. I was very
They
surprised.
literally mixed in Disney with Animal Crossing is what I got out of this.
That's
and
probably
I was
I know
why
it
it's
is, yeah.
vibing for me.
That's really like a
Throwing
ton.
two things I don't care for.
yeah, I know. And then I think this was just,
Montage.
I think, Live Alive because it was already coming. It's coming out soon.
That's
That
gonna be
comes out-
cool.
You thought that would have
I
got a
can't
little
believe-
more shine this.
It did. It got that fucking 40-minute gameplay thing they did. That treehouse.
Oh, but
footage.
yeah, but that
Oh,
was
yeah.
that was
I didn't
afterwards.
Even, I didn't
yeah.
even know, watch that. I didn't know what happened.
It came out
can't
like the
believe this is a
same
thing.
day.
Dude, I was working up all day. I didn't.
We used to
trust
call
this.
it Live Alive back in the day. Everybody called it Live Alive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, the A is kind of like
That's
the way
true,
the way
man.
the A is handled makes me think Doraemon is just a.
There's another farmer.
Another farming one, but
Yeah.
I saw Clock that was digging this one specifically.
I think I was more surprised they brought this over because this is like a Japanese exclusive IP almost.
Yeah.
Here's the game of the show right
Yeah.
here.
Minecraft Legends, baby.
Oh, shut up!
What's
Okay,
different
shit.
about this? What is this? Like a
It's
It's
apparently like a tower defense.
They announced this wasn't this in the PlayStation thing or the Xbox?
No,
thing?
it was in the
Xbox.
it was in the Xbox thing.
Yeah, it was the Xbox thing.
It's a
Why not
Microsoft
every other
game, man.
Minecraft spinoff has done fucking gangbusters? Why not
Yeah.
another one?
I mean, this art
Yeah, it's
style
like a
works
tower
for that
defense.
type of game. It doesn't.
I do think they could do a lot with that IP, man. So
And then
hey,
this one.
more spin-offs than there.
This is another
This
one
looks
like
dope. This
Square
looks dope.
game.
By the way, this is another Switch exclusive one.
Is this really?
From yeah, it's only on Switch. It's only
Not even on
it's
PC.
not even on PC.
Really?
It
Weird.
comes out December 9th. I'm so fucking
So,
I don't understand. Square throws me off a lot, dog. And the thing is, this was
I like
mentioned.
This, though. I like the
It was
idea of this.
mentioned before when that Dragon Quest HD 2D remake was mentioned, but like I don't think we saw a lot of footage of it. And then this is the first time we're seeing footage. It's like, oh, by the way, it's out in like 6 months. I'm like, oh, okay, shit. It looks better than
exploring the world, collecting
It
treasures
looks
and shit.
like that other game. This looks like something that
like
would have
Dragon
been
Quest
on,
Builders.
This would have been on like the 3DS if they still had the two systems. This would have been.
You can tell it's using a lot of assets from 11S, because that's where these characters are from.
But hey man, that's a.
Oh no,
I think
I'm
that's
not.
really cool.
No,
That's
I'm
really
not
cool.
mad. I'm not mad at it. I'm actually pretty.
I fucks with it, man. So far, I've only played Dragon Quest spin-offs, man.
You need to play 11.
Guy.
I know. I got one of these.
You play 11S. 11S was fucking great, and that was my first.
I heard it's
my first Dragon
one of the best
game.
RPGs, man. Apparently,
Dude, it's
I was like, a Plague Tale looks pretty good.
A Plague Tale, yeah, goddamn.
At least they told you it's cloud version the right way instead of doing that dumb shit where like it's like, oh, by the way, Plague Tale's coming to Switch, and then on tiny little letters, cloud version.
This looks like a Hades type of game.
Looks like an indie version of Hades.
Almost has.
Well, it's got a grid base, something grid
art
base
style, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, just kept everything short and sweet.
Oh,
and then all right,
the biggest
hey, by
announcement of the
this
century.
was already announced, though. We already knew these were.
But hey,
I
Portal 1 and 2 are out today.
But they run 1080p 60. Like.
Oh, do they?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't checked. Damn, that's crazy.
It says it's like
good.
One of the best ports on Switch, like with Alien Isolation. I think.
Really, I'm actually surprised that it does. Well, I mean,
it's not.
Like
the
slower
game's
phase.
What did it run on? What did it run on Xbox 360? Was that 30? Probably.
They didn't have Portal 2 though, did it? That was just Portal 1 and.
No, well, Portal 2 was Xbox 360.
Yeah, Portal 2 came out on 360.
Yeah, it's probably 30 or 60. I don't know.
Probably 30.
And then hey, by the way,
before we go any further, did you hear the modder made Half-Life 2 work with like within days of that game coming out using the Portal access?
I didn't look too much into it, so I don't know exactly how that
like
worked.
Working really well. It looked good. It's like if this some dude could do it in a few days, you think Valve could have a good port out
in a week?
So, that was interesting because Half-Life 2 is a great game. I never played Half-Life 1. I watched your backlog, and that's probably all I need.
Thank you.
It's hard to go, but it's like more so than going from Bayonetta 2 to Bayonetta 1.
Okay.
From Half-Life 2 to Half-Life 1 looks like quite the step back. Just the mechanics, the gameplay. Yeah.
But you played Half-Life 2?
Yeah, and
I've heard it's great, man. I heard it's a great game.
Both the expansions, because it was part of the orange box.
That's right. It's
good
Episode
game.
1 and 2. Yeah.
It's got one downer section. We're in like a riverboat, but fucking Square, man. Square has just been supporting.
How are they pumping out so many games all of a sudden?
Like I keep saying, maybe not this one, but some of the other ones look like would have been allocated teams for 3DS games. This one looks a little bit more than.
Well, but even if it is 3DS, 3DS type, but I mean, they're not, so like you would think that somehow
they still have the teams, like they
probably have those teams. That's true. They still got those. They got to be working on
the
something.
The reason why it's so crazy to me is because think about it. This year we had Triangle Strategy. You have Live Alive that comes out later this month, and then this fucking game that comes out in November. By the way,
see, this looks like
good.
Triangle Strategy got nowhere near the fanfare of like Octopath.
Look at that. That looks cool.
This looks like compared to the other two Square games they've shown. This is to me it looks like way bigger budget, way stepped up visual.
And this one is PC and Switch.
Well, because I was looking at this and I was thinking, I'm like, oh, okay, farming and all that. But then I'm like, okay, there's more to it. And then I'm like, okay. And then
it seems like a proper marriage of an RPG and like
buy it on Switch, play it on PC.
You got waifus.
How dare you, T?
Keep that biz sealed, cuz.
But look at that. What was that? You're bouncing around and the dude's.
I'm just more surprised.
Yeah, take away the farming stuff and that's like that's on.
And by the way, it's like, oh, by the way, we just announced this today, and it comes out in like 5 months.
Is that kind of like Xenoblade? It's kind of you see in the side.
No,
on the side.
Go back. If just can go back for a second. I don't know if I would say that's Xenoblade.
I haven't checked the chat in like 10 minutes. I don't know what people are saying, but
you can just chat while I'm looking at this real quick. I'm trying
Retro
is Retro going crazy in the chat.
He's going crazy on Harvestella, man. Mommy said I'm not able to open the door.
I'm just surprised.
I like the combat.
I'm just surprised that they were like
towns. The locations are cool.
Fucking looks great.
That's not. That just looks
no.
Like
okay, so it just looks like an actual action.
Yeah, it just looks like action combat. Okay. It just happens to have farming
on the side. On the bottom. See how it loads up the skills. kind of like.
Oh, then yeah, you could say it's like
you saw
Xenoblade
it.
too.
It's kind of like Xenoblade-esque.
Yeah. I'm just fucking surprised Square was like, hey, I guess we're gonna just put a bunch of shit out on Switch
Might as
and
well.
be like,
November 4th, man.
and just
Last
go
year of
for
the
it.
Switch.
And then this last announcement, which obviously means more to, I know Juice have no fucks to give, and that's perfectly fine. I knew he didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm just glad I don't have to see people begging for this game anymore.
No, yeah, we need to move the fuck on.
No
Clearly,
more
clearly the big announcement was for them because they even had Morgana, saying "Welcome for Nintendo Switch" and all that, like
Yeah.
Because
actually-
motherfuckers, people were mad, dog. People just didn't understand something. When you give me 3DS spinoffs and fucking the Strikers game on Switch,
yeah,
and you're just like, but I can't get the main games, all of which are run on like PS3, PS2, and fucking PSP. Why is this still an issue?
Is it gonna be on the cartridge? Like the whole
it
thing?
is. Well,
It better be
Royal
fucking-
is.
it better be on the
other
fucking
ones are
cartridge.
digital.
It better be on a cart. I'd be ready to
Royal,
swing on
but
somebody.
the other ones are digital. 4 and 3 are just digital games.
Are they? That makes sense because technically they're older sin. I get it.
And I forgot to mention this earlier,
That
but
shit on the cart, bitch.
I would have
Yeah.
preferred it on the cart. Not gonna lie, and
Especially those games, like they're just games that are like pretty
You're on the
expensive
cart on the
physically.
Vita, motherfucker.
Mhm.
Those are expensive games physically, so it's
Just
like they
wait.
should still release them.
Oh, it's
wait
fine.
till that one
I'm,
company does it.
So you know,
what?
Limited Run?
Oh, limited. Oh, you talking about limited run?
Oh no, now Clock is gonna yell at us.
God is gonna yell at us. I just wanted to be stated. I'm definitely buying 4 Golden again. I have no qualms about that. Oh,
3 is on PSP,
What?
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people are mad
And-
about 3. I will say people are mad about 3 because it's not.
4
It's
is
not
on Vita.
on PC.
I mean, to me, other than a couple games that didn't interest me, that was a solid lineup.
That's a really solid direct.
Not
I
much
think
filler,
really solid.
unique,
Flowed well.
variety. Like I said,
Yeah.
I would rather have 15. That was 26 minutes.
Yeah, that was 26 minutes.
God, that went faster than some of the 30-minute.
That's because most of it was quick pace, except for I think Mario Rabbids and
the Monster Hunter, and like I don't know, just for me, just even though there's games I'm not buying, I still found it way more easy to watch.
Bring over those expensive ass Persona games on fucking 3DS.
You mean
Them bitches are in excess of $100 if you want to buy.
Yeah, you're talking about Persona Q1 and Q2
Yeah.
they're just like in hell.
Soul hackers and shit like that.
No, hold on. We always talk about it's always locked up on these consoles. I don't know about
they're
that.
locked up. Although a lot of people now believe what's probably going to happen. I think it's already confirmed. That's up until this point, Atlas for some reason treated the mainline Shin Megami Tensei for some reason was locked on Nintendo consoles since the 3DS, and then Persona was locked on the PlayStation until now. So more than likely there'll be a PC port of 5 Shin Megami Tensei 5 coming in the near future.
Right.
I think it's already been kind of confirmed. Also, side note, did anyone know that there was a fucking PS5 version of No More Heroes 3 coming out?
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I missed that completely. I was like, when the hell did that get announced?
They announced that and the Xbox version and PC
And
version.
Xbox, yeah.
Oh, wait, Xbox version, not a PlayStation version?
All 3, every other platform.
All right, my
So
bad.
it's all coming.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they announced it just all of them at once.
So yeah, man.
Now
the other interesting thing, which I forgot to mention,
which is really fractured to me.
Right after the Nier announcement, they announced pre-orders went live. Like, you think people are itching for Nier on Switch to make an announcement about pre-orders? Like, to me, that just seems strange.
Well, I've been waiting 5 years.
Well, I think for a game like that though, it kind of makes sense. Where it's like, if like you need to get that quick little hype right now, so you might get extra little sales. They're like, ooh, Nier on it. Let me just get it right now. Fuck it.
Even Nier fans like, oh, that's cool. But nobody's hyped. I don't think anybody's hyped for Nier.
I don't know. I've seen some people like, oh,
I want to see like the actual...
There's always going to be somebody. But that's what? That'll give you what? 20,000 in sales?
Yeah, I want to see actual like direct feed gameplay of the game. I want to know that it actually runs decent. You're not...
Why? You going to buy it?
No, I'm saying before, if I was going to pre-order a game, I just mean in general for a game like that. I'm not just going to
you just want to
pre-order based on the announcannouncement. Like, come on.
That shit going to look like Hellblade.
It's Switch, so you always got to question if it's going to be a good port, you know?
This man said Hellblade, what the fuck?
I mean, Hellblade ran pretty decent.
It ran good.
But
It just looked
It
rough.
looked like, woo.
Talk about my
I was still
eyes were
surprised
watering.
about the whole Portal one there. You're telling me that the Portal ones are really good.
Is that the first time you played it, Juice?
No, that was my third time through it.
Oh,
on
okay.
Switch.
But I will say this: the only issue I have with the Nier announcement is that I think it's on pre-order for what, $40. I think is what it's going for, is what they put it up there for. Which I guess I'm happy that at least it's not 60.
See, that's
Right.
that's a good price point, I think, for
But
an old game.
I think the problem is like you guys said, I'm like, the game's been out for like 5 years. I feel like if people
If you really wanted to play that, you probably would have played
But
that.
still,
Yeah, it's been like
$40, that's some other companies would.
Well, just to give context, if you go on Amazon right now, you can get it for like $24
$24 for the PS4 version.
It's not a
But that's
massive
not-
difference, so
That's
It's
the
not
game
crazy.
Of the year. I
No,
guess that
if
is-
you want that portability, you might that Switch taxes might be all right for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, and let's be real here.
It's got to be a good game though. It's got to run.
And to be
look good.
fair, with the port, you can't really put it out. I couldn't see them putting out a game like Nier for like $20 and being like,
No, they're not going to do that.
Because most people in the back be like, "Wow, that's a ridiculous deal." But it's also like, why? Why would you
$40. That's what the Last of Us Part 1 should be.
Is it not?
it's 70.
Oh, fuck you, God. That's
And
ridiculous.
there's $100 version, man. Don't forget about that.
What do you mean there's $100 for what though? What are you getting?
Some in-game shit. I don't. I
Oh
forget.
no,
Two
come
things.
on,
You
bro.
get in-game stuff.
Yeah, it's,
And it's like, I know,
Oh.
Robert, I know this happened before, but it definitely became, I feel like the Switch generation, it came a little more commonplace for bringing old games back at full price. I know it's done it before, but for me, it became more like, I saw it more and more, almost trying to like push it off as a new game because it's, charging full price.
You've been looking out for it. You know what I mean? So you've been, you know what I mean?
It just became
back in
such a
2014,
since
2015.
2017 or 2018. It's just happened so much on
Port.
Switch. And there are people who view those as Switch games now. Like, it just, like the Mario Kart 8, that's a Switch game. I mean, it's just what it is. And then, and
some people are rediscovering Nintendo through the Switch, so everyone just assumes that like,
a lot of people didn't play Wii U. I mean, that's the argument.
Well, because the reality is always
the Wii U.
The reality is that the Switch was not made for Nintendo. Wasn't made for like hardcore Nintendo fans in the sense of like, in terms of being like respectful for our money and shit. It was made to recoup a bunch of losses they took.
It's a recoup system.
And guess what? It fucking worked. But the rest of us are like,
I'm happy for those who never had a Wii U, but fuck you.
Who
had one.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, at least 5 years later, we're essentially done with all that. Essentially.
Yeah, most of the
shit. Nintendo do a port this year?
But now they're like, well,
no, right? I don't think so.
You never had an Xbox 360.
Not confirmed. Not like confirmed
Switches
yet.
for
No.
you.
There's a rumor of a port
This
coming.
be the first year without a port from Nintendo since the Switch launched.
Yeah, I can't think of
what was
anything.
last year? Last year was
Zelda.
Last year they had a couple. They had Skyward Sword
Zelda
HD and
what?
Bowser. And
No, but I
Mario.
mean Wii U port. I'm thinking Wii U port
I was talking about-
specifically.
Wii U port.
Was it was Fire Emblem?
Yeah,
Oh, not Fire Emblem.
no, 3
Pokemon Mirage Sessions in that.
Oh, yeah.
2021, I believe Fire Emblem, Tokyo Mirage.
Yeah,
Sessions.
that's what I mean. So like last year, but this year I don't think there was any.
No, we haven't had
this
any.
year, no.
That's what I mean. Like this year would be the last, or I guess
It'd be
last year was the last year that we.
Yeah,
had
this will be the potentially. This will be the first year without
first
any
full year with
Wii-
no Wii U
Wii U
game on
port.
Switch.
There's not anything else
We
to
made
do.
it. We made it.
The only other game you could do is X. I think X is like the only other game that sticks out to me is like, yeah, we could port X or Star Fox, and I don't think they're gonna do Star Fox.
Honestly, they could probably bring any other game and it would still sell. To be honest.
Oh,
with you.
no,
Like,
no,
they could bring
that's-
Yoshi's Woolly World. It would sell. They could bring Nintendo Land somehow. I don't know how they would do
No.
that. But
I mean,
they
they could. They're not gonna do that.
some
Yeah,
fucking out there. They're gonna
Mario,
find a way, bro. They're gonna
Paper
find a
Mario.
way. They want to make some more money on it.
Oh God.
And it's like I said before, and people that used to call me out on it don't seem to watch the podcast or not live chat anymore. But there's a difference. You don't hear me complaining about this year, even though, like, other than Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I mean, I'm looking at the Pokemon games, but, you know, I'm not sold. I'm not decided 100%. You know, it's not like it's a year filled with games for me. I haven't bought anything since Arceus. But you don't hear one peep out of me complaining about the Switch's lineup this year. Someone tried to say, like, I don't know, last year or the year before, that I'm only mad because
anymore, that's why.
I'm only mad because there's no games for me. I was like, no, I don't. It's not about that. I don't want to see Nintendo putting out new games. I don't want to see more old games or as many old games as new games in a year, which I think 2020 was the last year they really did that.
Do you think you might pick up Morning Rabbids or not really?
No, I didn't even want to buy the DLC. Those are the type of games I'm good. I'll be good for 20 years probably.
You was in on Mario plus Rabbids, no? Am I the only person that played and beat that game?
Oh, I beat it.
I did.
Okay, Terrell beat it. Okay.
To me, that I have no.
I didn't play the DLC though.
I
did
not
not
change up stuff. Like I could go 10 years.
Yeah,
without
I'm playing DLC right now actually. The Donkey Kong shit. It's cool. It's cool.
It is.
I
Okay,
didn't pick
cool.
up the sports. I didn't pick up Strikers. What else came out?
There's a new Rabbids game, you know.
Fuck Nintendo Sports on Switch. Fuck that. I don't play none of that shit.
They went okay. Kirby this year too.
I was super excited for most of the stuff.
I felt like I was the only one after that announcement. I immediately made a video that I thought Nintendo showed they didn't have any confidence in the IP because that's not how. For me, that's not how you bring back Wii Sports.
It's Strikers.
Oh,
Everybody loves
too.
fucking Strikers. Everybody who plays Strikers love that shit to death. It's one of those games that, especially from the GameCube era, that everybody fucking loved. You can't fuck that up. You can't fuck up Mario Golf. It's such a beloved franchise for Nintendo. Yeah, it's not a huge franchise. It's a million plus seller though. To put that shit out the way they've been putting it out with this trickle out content shit, like, come on,
How many
man.
characters? Isn't there like a really low character?
It's like 8.
8 characters?
Yeah, it's 8.
10. It's 10
So
for Strikers.
if you're playing like tournament or whatever, bitch, you're gonna see the same dude.
Yeah, I heard like it's another situation where I heard the core game is good, but like it's
Well, I
just
heard the
Why
core
aren't there
game
more
is
different
surprisingly really
Why
in
isn't there
depth. For
30, 40 characters?
Why aren't there more themed characters, like themed teams from all kinds of Nintendo shit? Why? Like, it's just... It's
Why go
cheap.
bare bones? That's what I...
It's super bare bones.
Give it to Mario... It doesn't have to be Mario Kart 8, like, budget. I'm sure that was a pretty high budget. But get closer to Mario Kart 8 than Mario Kart Wii, where they felt like they just... Well, we got to make a game for the Wii. What can we do? You know, like... You had some cool ideas, but it didn't feel like the next... It felt more like a sequel to the like that would have been on GameCube, not just in the visuals and stuff.
Yes,
That's
what I meant.
Hey, man,
absolutely,
I love
every person on the planet, every
Mario
person loved Strikers. Absolutely everyone. That's
everyone
what I meant.
I ever heard talk about Strikers.
Every person ever in the world loved Strikers. That's exactly what I meant.
I love it. I love it when people try to make
Jesus Christ.
That happens a lot when I'll say, "Man, no one seems to like." No, I know this person liked. I didn't say nobody in the history of the world. I just meant the majority of people.
Like, now you got to be super literal when you talk now.
I know.
These
That's
young
like
cats.
talking to Retro Death, though. Yeah, I think he's still here. So
he's hanging out.
But let's see what else is there to talk about.
Cuphead DLC came out. It's great.
Yeah.
They did a lot of hidden secrets and shit. It's also hard as fuck. I hate it.
What?
I was talking about the Cuphead DLC came out this week. I regretted a lot of life decisions in some of those bosses, but it's a grind. I'm enjoying it. They did a lot more like secreted shit, like you have to do puzzles and stuff. I appreciate it. Also, my goal points. Huh?
You watched the Netflix show?
I need to. I've seen clips.
Oh,
The clip. Yeah, it's been out.
Fuck, I know that.
It's pretty funny from the clips I saw.
I'm so behind because I spent 5 weeks working on my theater room. I didn't just now.
Go check out his video on it. It's right here on the channel.
I got like 6 videos on it, but yeah, I just finally started watching Stranger Things again after I had only watched the first 2, and that shit's good. So I got The Boys waiting. I haven't watched any of season 3.
Oh no! Whew.
I hear it's got some pretty fucking gory, like ridiculous shit in it.
Everybody's talking about hero-gasm. Oh boy.
That show, man. They really.
And I mean everybody, every literal person on the planet is talking about hero-gasm juice. Everyone.
So I've been I picked up Horizon. I put probably close to 8 hours this last 5 days because I had like 5-6 days off of work, and
Nice.
I'm just enjoying that game, man. Like every side character I've met so far, I've liked. Like there's not been one that's annoying or like annoying voice acting or annoying character. They're all likable characters. There's a guy that he's like a stoic. He got injured in battle, and he like goes along with you begrudgingly, and then like it just naturally it feels right when he like when Aloy wins him over and stuff. Like there's just some really cool. I don't know who they hired to write this, but it can't be the same people that wrote the first game because the dialogue is so much better. It's like, I mean, it's leagues better. So I'm like just really interested in all the side characters I met. The world's interesting. They copied some, they took inspiration from Breath of the Wild and put more interesting things to do and see things to see. And yeah, I think I just crossed 41, 42 hours according to my save file. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And I finally hit the ocean. I finally saw the ocean like after like 38, 39 hours. And I'm not all the way to the west.
Is that your fault or the game's fault?
I'm just saying I finally got there, and water looks good, man. Water looks good. I need to make a wave race game, but yeah,
That'll
I'm just
never
enjoying that game, man.
Just let it go.
The gyro aiming just really just makes that for me. Cause what did I go back to? I put like a couple weeks ago. I tried the Resident Evil games with the upgrades. And I'm like doing this, trying to fucking aim, and it's like
not working.
It doesn't have it. So I know Revelations 2 had gyro aiming on the Switch, so Capcom's done it. But either way, just really enjoying that game. It sucks that it got just completely overshadowed by Elden Ring, but
those bundles, man, they've been selling them now because
I tell you, T, I wouldn't wait. Don't wait for it to hit the Steam Deck in 3 years. I'd pick that game.
I'm not waiting. I'm gonna get it this year. Just I'm playing a lot of shit.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely to the level.
I'm not playing under Steam
of the Frozen Wilds. I think it's better, but it's at its weakest. It's at the level of the Frozen Wilds. So yeah. Other than that, I didn't play anything else. I know Robert, you finally played Half-Life. I never played that one, and like I said in the beginning, I can't. After seeing what that game is, I couldn't go back to it after Half-Life 2, but I understand its impact it had when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why
I've been playing a bunch of games, man.
Play Black Mesa instead.
I heard. Yeah, I've seen the trailer for Black Mesa, and it looks pretty damn incredible. Like they made it as an official release from Valve, which is insane. So I do want to actually play that one of these days. It's like a remake
basically.
It's like a modded remake of the game. It's a fan made remake, and then Valve made it a commercial release. It was so good. They were like, you know what? Let's make that a commercial release. Did they add in
like some more of the mechanics from 2, or just kept it more?
No, they it was just like it was just a genuine visual remake, but then they overhauled some stuff, like apparently Zen, like that was kind of my biggest problems with
Zen.
Yeah, that was actually my problem too. Was Zen, and
it's so funny because you said basically you cheesed the final boss. I did the exact same fucking thing. I hit behind that. Like I died like maybe 25 times. I was ready to give up, and then I just ended up behind that fucking spike, and I'm like, wait a minute, he can't hit me here.
Right? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, yo,
it's that shit. I was like, fuck it.
And it's weird because to me, like, it makes it like that game. It's like it also makes that boss like kind of like.
It's weak as hell now.
Because you just see a little flesh of his head, and you're just shooting his head the whole time. You know,
you were like,
that was the '90s. That shit happened a lot in the '90s, where you could just I could just slide behind this little panel and just hit his ass. You can't touch me
Well,
back here.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that did that because I was like, wait,
no,
what?
yeah, I did that too.
How
I
would you
was
not do
surprised.
that at that point? Like, it just makes no sense.
I was so surprised when you said that. I was like, oh shit, he did the same thing.
To me,
I did.
that was like
Jeez, that shit.
that was like hearing that some of you guys beat the Divine Beast electric blight Ganon or whatever.
Yeah,
Without doing the shield counter, because it's like
I beat him without that shit. I was like,
because I was making fun of. I was watching this a streamer I like, and someone bought her a Switch because that's what people do when they like a streamer, especially a cute female. Bought her a Switch and the game.
Oh wow!
So she'd play Breath of the Wild, and she didn't even finish the fucking game. She got 9 streams in, so looked like about 18, 20 hours. And she spent
20 hours.
She spent like an hour on that boss and she could never figure out the buttons, even though it said on screen it was a white highlight. She's like, "Oh, X," and hit the wrong button and complained about it the whole time. I couldn't watch it, but anyway, she's that boss the same way. She went through all her weapons and just kept hitting them 3 times till it stunned them, and then you could get like 1 or 2 hits in before you're supposed to do the shield counter. And I was like, for me, I'm watching. I'm like, dude. After I did it like a couple times, I'm like, oh, they're teaching me something here, and I did the counter in it, and I got the timing down. It just clicked for me that's what the game was trying to tell me.
Yeah,
and I was so mad watching this. I was so mad watching her. I'm like, just do the and people in the chat like, do the shield counter. What button is that? A? She kept hitting B because that's where A is on Xbox. Yeah. And I was like, oh my god, this is so bad. And then she got the Master Sword and never played the game again. Dude spent $400 or $360, and she wouldn't even finish the game. Like, that's why you never buy.
Well, you shouldn't be doing that shit to begin with. So,
but
yeah, but they do it because they want to. It's that whole I like this person. I want to see them play the game.
If you do that, then the streamer should have some obligation to fucking.
Yeah, I would finish it just out of obligation.
Yeah,
right. You bought it for me.
I didn't like the goddamn game, which I don't understand why you don't like Breath of the Wild. But even if I didn't like it, I would fucking do it just.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get too mad at the muscle memory thing because, as I said, I run into that issue with Xbox now, where because I never played it.
You don't have prompts showing you where the button is on the actual.
You'll just say Y or X. Or,
yeah, it actually shows you the button location, so that should.
Like everything else does it the other way. Nintendo's the only one that does it that way. So it's like, because I was playing Fallen Order again on Steam Deck, and it has has Xbox controls, and I use my Xbox controller when I dock it, and for whatever reason, I couldn't find it or whatever, and I used my Switch Pro controller. I couldn't fucking play the game at all. I was like, what the fuck? My A is up, my B and all mixed up. I couldn't even play that shit, bro. I had to quit until I found my controller because I could not do it. My memory was on the Xbox for that game at that point, so I get it. I totally get that.
But either way, I watched her beat that boss without doing the. Which kind of, to me, was like, yeah, you didn't cheese it because it was a big waste of your resources because, the way she was doing it, she basically...
You made it harder for yourself.
Way harder, lost all her weapons, all her health, all her, perks or whatever. I don't know whatever. But anyway, when I was watching Robert, you were like, yeah, I'm throwing all my hard weapons. I'm looking at the yellow triangle on the wall. And I'm like, that looks like something you need to shoot. And then you're like, I couldn't do any damage to it, and I'm like, I bet it's those triangles.
To me, they're so small compared to everything else that I just didn't register my brain.
I wasn't playing, it's easier when I watch my own gameplay. When I used to upload gameplay, I can notice things I wouldn't know when I was playing the game. So I was like, oh, that was curious. I figured that out before even got to it. So. But. Yeah, I don't know. What else we got?
I play Ratchet and Clank, yo.
Oh, you played Ratchet and Clank?
I really enjoyed that a lot, man.
Wait, you talking about the new one? Rift
Apart? I enjoy that game a ton. It's definitely so far. That would only be my fourth one that I finished. So I've finished 26.
You dreamed of jumping through worlds.
I like that a lot, though. I do like that a lot. It's there's a lot of cool set pieces that they do that involve that. It's not nearly as big of a it's not a big a mechanic that needs to be the name of the title. Rift Apart. I guess it's Rift Apart because It's right. No, that's fine. Now that I
That's
think about
part
it,
of the plot, man.
Yeah.
It's the
Technically,
plot.
you're a rift. Yeah, you're a rift. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, it's definitely it's a really good game. My only thing is like I was playing this other game called Chicory, a colorful tale, and it has these awesome boss battles, and I kind of made me think of Ratchet and Clank again, where I'm like, damn, they can never nail boss battles, man. Like legit, there's not a single memorable boss battle that I
No,
played in that
just
franchise so far.
Damn.
Because you're always just kind of just
It's not
shooting,
memorable.
You're just shooting, and like the locations are cool, and then but then I also started thinking, I'm like, man, you're in this galaxy, right? And I started thinking of Sumarai Galaxy. I started thinking of all the amazing galaxies that are super. I literally remember the names, of every single one. Good Egg Galaxy, like any single one. I just remember the actual names.
Amazing
But then
boss
I'm like,
battle.
I don't remember the names of any Ratchet and Clank world, and like they don't quite stick out as like, oh man, that like they don't seem to the point where it's like, man, it's space. You could do anything,
Right. And
but
they
you
don't do
made
anything.
Orange Planet. You made an Orange Planet with like look at like
Well, the
like
question is though, is it a better platformer than Super Mario Odyssey?
Man,
it is not even. I wouldn't even consider a lot of these games platforms,
they're
man. To
not
me,
platformers. Ratchet and Clank games are
Retro
action
Death
games.
said the
I think
reboot, the remake
I think they're
was
rich.
better
somehow it's
platformer
better.
than
It's
Mario.
not, bro. Most of the
There's
time
no
you're shooting. It's
platforming.
not even.
Yeah,
It's
but
not,
listen. I think Ratchet and Clank originally had more platforming
No,
in it.
there is platforming in the
Yeah,
game,
but
but
it's
you wouldn't call it a platformer.
nah.
I wouldn't say
Yeah,
like
like,
this
It's
is a
more.
straight
It's more of
platformer.
an.
Like
It's more
hell
of an
no.
action. It's
So
more of an action
Robert,
shooter at this point.
But I
Yeah.
do, but regardless, like other than that, I do really. It's probably my
Oh,
favorite
there's
Ratchet and Clank
platforming
game
in
so far.
Turok. Would you call that a platformer? No.
but I feel like
Significant
just
platformer.
watching gameplay and watching the reviews, I came to the conclusion that Insomniac
No one
needs to
bought it.
hire like Housemark, somebody to handle the shooting and the gameplay side of it, like, and then they can handle the beautiful visuals and stuff, and get somebody that's a little more
Well,
apt
I
at
actually.
gameplay. Because just like you said about the boss fights, it just reminded me of the hop left,
Oh,
hop right bullshit I did in the reboot, the remake, or whatever on
yeah.
PS4. Like there was
I
nothing
mean,
memorable. I don't even remember what the bosses look like. You didn't do anything
yeah,
special.
that's my problem.
It's just
It's one of my problems because like I think boss battles could be important. Like I think of It Takes Two. I think of Returnal. I think of Chicory now. I even think of Bowser Fury as like 2021 games that I've played so far that are like awesome boss battles for me. I know you didn't love Bowser Fury, but I'll never forget like those Returnal insane boss battles, and me and you doing some of these fucking crazy boss battles. So good. Or just, you were like, "Oh, well, go try the boss again," and I'll go and like I'm sweating, playing these low, and it's incredible. The music's, super
imagine Ratchet
memorable.
and Clank, you like the boss in World 3 where the ground is, and you gotta like
Yes,
use your grapple
and you
to
got to use your like,
as it's falling. Imagine
yeah,
using the rifts to
have the
actually,
rift.
in
I
the middle of
agree.
this
Yeah,
big massive boss fight, you have
that's
to like
not one
use
of
the
the
rift
bosses. There's no
to
boss like that.
get to a your.
Or it doesn't take advantage of it,
It's
unfortunately.
like
That's the problem.
Oh,
The mechanics, control, all that stuff is really good in Ratchet and Clank. You like the characters, all that stuff
the
is
set
great. But when it comes
pieces.
to like the actual gameplay and like game design and stuff, it's not really anything special, and that's what separates it from a Mario Odyssey or something like
yeah,
that.
it's polished, but
Yeah, it's
it's
super
nothing.
polished.
It's
All the
not
games are really
nothing
polished.
over the top that brings it to the point where it's like, wow, holy
Are you
shit,
doing
dude.
anything different in the end of the game that you weren't doing in the first 2 minutes of the game?
Because like one of the things that I liked in this game were these hover boots, and like you're able to like press R2 and you start to go really fast, and you're like gliding around. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then I'm like, but to be fair, I haven't played some of the previous ones, and I guess apparently that was introduced in like into the Nexus. It was introduced like in some of the PS3 games. So I'm like, all right, so technically that's also not a new thing for Rift Apart, but it's still cool. I enjoy. So like movement wise, they added the Phantom Dash, so you could like kind of dodge. I like that a lot. You know, and obviously just the shooting in general is, again, like we said, it's super fucking polished. But I would love it if they just went like a little bit more creative in terms of just the worlds and the bosses. Like, and then you could make something that's truly like, holy fucking shit, this is a like
And when you say
some masterclass thing. But like
when you
in terms of actual just set pieces, super fun. I love those
wait.
characters. I love the actual just the pure gun play. I love that. I think it's a ton of fun.
Wait, when you say the worlds, you mean like the level design, or you just
Yes,
mean like?
I mean the actual. Well, both the level design and the environments themselves. They're beautiful, but I'm gonna forget about a lot of these environments pretty quickly, just because like again I think about like Super Mario Galaxy and I think about how many galaxies were in Super Mario Galaxy. Like you had a ton, right? You had 4 or 5 in each world, and they were not like tiny little things. They had 2, 3 stars, and you would go to different sections of that galaxy. Like you're talking about space. You could do anything, and we always have these big, planes or whatever. These, I think about there's the big orange planet that I'm thinking of, and it's just like nothing quite stands out. It's like wow, that's like some crazy. Like you have the Neon City or whatever.
How many of those
It looks
levels...
beautiful, but it's a neon city. Like it's a neon city. Like that's not something that in Mario Galaxy you're running on candy canes and shit, and you're just a bunch of random.
Well, how many of
Every
those
galaxy is super
worlds
different.
have rail grinding?
There's a lot of rail. I like the rail grinding. I know you don't like the
How
rail
many
grinding.
have rail grinding? Because that to me is the epitome of we don't have a fucking clue what to do for gameplay. That's why Sonic does it. That's why they just don't know what to do. They don't have anything beyond doing some shooting, jumping left, jumping right. That's all they have.
Damn.
I mean, it's just a fact. You can enjoy it, but that's a fact. They don't have much beyond that in those games. They got.
Well, I will also say I like they did do a little bit. I liked in Quest for Booty the pirate stuff, and they had some more pirate themed levels. Well, they had like one pirate theme level in it, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Though. What are you talking about gameplay wise though? What?
No, I'm just thinking like I'm just rambling in terms of like,
we're talking about content. The fuck?
I'm just rambling in terms of other
things. You have
things.
to figure anything out. I mean, it's just like shooting, bashing stuff with your wrench, collecting, so you upgrade your weapons, and the whole gimmick is these crazy weapons. Well, how many creative weapon ideas can you come up with in like your 20th game in the series? Maybe in the first couple. They were,
well, that was so cool. Like they have you turn everyone into plants and stuff, so it freezes them, and then you're able to kind of take them out easier, which I like that. But a lot of them are bullets that are just kind of maybe textured differently.
Yeah, so they need to come up with a new gimmick beyond just trying to come up with new weapons to wow people each time, because that's all I ever heard was these crazy weapons and stuff. And it's like, that's why I said, I know I love Returnal, that's why I bring up Housemarque, but I was like, man, just imagine if Ratchet and Clank had like this, like, you don't have to make it as intense and still have it fit in this theme of Ratchet and Clank, but you could make it way more skill based, which, for a more seasoned gamer, for somebody who likes that more casual playthrough, maybe have that option in there too. I don't know.
Well, because I mean, like it's I could definitely see people, like the more casual dying a decent amount of Rift Apart just for the simple. Well, because you have the different difficulty modes, so you could, but like a lot of things. And I always say that Insomniac does, and what I've noticed, a lot of their game design is they put you in some area, then they just throw a lot of enemies in it, and then you got to fight a lot of enemies, and then you progress, and then they throw here's more enemies, and it's just like enemy galore. Like you'll have like just arenas essentially, and that's it's cool with I'm cool with that with Ratchet and Clank and future Tools of Destruction kind of made me annoyed towards the last ending of it, but like Rift Apart I never quite had the problem where I was like, all right, this is like too many. It's getting annoying at this point.
So it's too easy.
Spider-Man had it no annoying where it's like, all right, you're just throwing a lot of like doesn't make it difficult.
Get all those brutes that you fucking hard as hell to kill in Spider-Man.
I can't stand fucking when Spider-Man would do that and they just throw a bunch of like I hate a million of enemies and you're like, oh my god, bro.
Here's all the enemies.
That's not good game design, man. It's like, oh, let's put 20 enemies around you. Okay.
You're in a boss battle.
Why are you saying
you're fighting the boss? You said this during your review for Half-Life, right?
Yeah, that's I always
you're fighting a boss, and then it just throws a bunch of fucking other enemies. I hate that shit too.
That's my biggest like pet peeve with anything. If you have a boss and then you just throw more enemies into the battle, it's like, dude, let me have a one-on-one with the fucking boss, man.
That just tells me the boss isn't strong. That's why I don't.
Right, it ain't strong enough. You trying to cheese me with some other bullshit.
I think Doom Eternal did best out of any game in recent memory. Like I didn't mind that because I needed resources and stuff. So it's almost
Well,
like
but
Depends
I
on the
don't think
game.
for like bosses there was never really a point. Only one I
the
can
final
remember.
boss
There's
had a bunch of you had to fight a bunch of regular enemies too.
the final boss.
The giant boss.
You sure? Wait
Yeah,
a minute.
I think that's just their way of if you
He's
miss.
like, I'm about to go
Doesn't
YouTube this shit.
Doom do that shit? I feel like
Well,
Well, but
20
Doom would make
Eternal
sense
for
because you have
sure.
to get
I think certain shooters
you have to
do
get
that.
like ammo back and
Yeah,
stuff. So
yeah.
it
To
kind of
me,
worked with the
that worked
gameplay.
fine.
But no, but Returnal. Remember, it was just a bunch of like bullet. We'll have to
I didn't
discuss
say
that because I
Returnal. I
don't.
said Doom Eternal.
My bad. I think I said Returnal.
No,
Yeah, I don't mind. For me, I
I was
don't
thinking, I was
mind
like,
like
wait, what?
shooters. Like shooters do
There's
it
too many Eternals and not enough finals.
when you're
Many
dealing
Eternals,
with
man.
like a narrative. I hate when narrative games do that because it's just like you're kind of telling a story, and to me it's a little different. And then there's just a straight up shooter where it's like, oh, okay, this game is about your ability to shoot. This is about your shooting skills. Yeah,
What
we'll
about
throw
a
a hill
game?
puzzle here.
T, what about a game where they know they gotta get it out, try to save their system. So
I
they
hate that.
So they cut content and then they just have you refight the same bosses
Oh
over.
hell.
Yeah, what you talking about? I know you talking about a specific game.
One involves sailing and
Oh my god.
dungeons being cut.
Oh.
That to me is up there with what Robert hates with the boss throwing out other enemies. I hate replaying the same boss fights
Redoing boss.
in towards the end of the game. Like, come
Okay.
And I don't like people giving me shit about pointing that shit out either.
on. It's like that's when I
Bullshit.
knew
The other
something
company did that shit, you be mad.
because I had played obviously A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time. I don't know if any of the other
memorable
handhelds.
boss battles and all them bitches.
Never
like,
before was I replaying boss battles, and I was just like, something ain't right.
There was a
here.
game that did that recently that I played. What
What?
game? Oh no, I guess not a
See,
recent.
I
It
didn't
was
know
Okami.
anything about the development. I couldn't tell you one person other than Miyamoto. I maybe knew Miyamoto's name. I wasn't really following like the executives and game creators back in the. That was in my.
I follow developers and studios.
That's when I
and
was
shit.
like GameCube. I was 21. I was out hanging
You were a
at
kid.
the bars and stuff. So I was just playing these games when I could. I enjoyed them, but without knowing really anything other than I knew that the GameCube needed help and they needed to get games out. That and Sunshine. I knew that last boss fight with Bowser is like this fucking game wasn't done. This was the first time I experienced such slowdown in a fucking Nintendo game. Like not
That was surprising.
not talking about Rare in Perfect Dark, but like a Nintendo game. And then with Wind Waker, I still enjoyed the game. I was just like, man, I gotta fight these bosses again. Like I was just kind of OG Zelda made you refight bosses. You talking about the NES Zelda game with the limited resources? I don't remember.
Fuck Christ. They'll find something.
I
Won't
know.
they?
To be fair, like there was no precedence then, you know.
I don't
so.
remember
I
refighting
don't
bosses
even
in
remi-
Zelda
I don't
1.
even
I don't remember that.
exactly remember refighting bosses, and so
I don't remember refighting bosses in Zelda 1. So
That
what
was
you
one of the disappointing things about Okami. It was just the ending where you have to refight every single boss,
Yeah,
and
it's
even
just- I just don't
including
like
including the Orochi, which you fight for the third time. You're like, why am I fighting this guy 30
that's
times?
when you know they're padding. That's padding. That's obvious.
Yeah, because that's the stuff. That's the stuff that sticks out to me in like, fucking the Warriors,
Age of
the
Calamity.
Hyrule Warriors,
Age of Calamity. Yeah, you kept
Age
fighting
of Calamity.
the same
That's
fucking
the stuff
thing.
that sticks out because it's like, oh man, you really we doing this again? We doing this? Oh,
That's
now
right,
you gotta
that's
fight 3 of them. Oh,
I'm
come
fighting
on.
Lionel's
Well, to be
game.
fair,
That's right. That's right.
Well,
That's right.
refighting certain bosses over. It depends on the game, but if it's like for a narrative reason, I tend to fuck with
That's
it a
what I
little
just,
bit.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Narrative reasons, okay, but
Yeah, but even narrative reasons, it
It's
depends
still- I
because
still don't like
they
it.
literally they
I'm about to
write
say, yeah, it
they're the
depends on the
writers,
game.
man. They wrote that shit. Why you gotta write that shit?
Doesn't mean the game's bad. Doesn't mean I hate the game. That's something I don't like.
well, let me fix it. Good narrative reason, not just
Okay,
any,
yeah.
not any-
No, yeah, like I'll give you an example. Since I'm playing Xenoblade, Xenoblade has you refight Metal Phase like 3 fucking times
Okay.
in that game.
Well,
But they do it they don't do full fights. The way they get around it is like the first time you fight them, you're obviously too
and you don't defeat
fucking
them, right?
yeah, you can't defeat him.
Yeah, we're talking.
The second time,
that's different. I'd say.
the second time you do beat him in a fight and you cause damage to him, and then he retreats. And I think like the third and fourth time are kind of back to back. It's like a dual phase fight and shit. Like, if the story is written, if they write it properly, it perfectly works fine. But the problem is that's not the majority of the time. Most of the time, it's the other way, where it's just like, well, fuck, we're only at 4 hours, and you're being a little bit too progressive at this game. I guess we gotta turn up the amount, have you refight the same boss again real quick to pad out another 30 minutes to an hour. What do you mean?
I wouldn't count that just because that sounds like if you like, refight Bowser.
Like the imprisoned.
Yeah, and everyone hates that. Which came out.
Everyone hates it, Juice. Does everyone hate
it? Every human being on this planet hates fucking imprisoned. That reminded me of my other thing I hate about boss fights, and it seems to be mostly RPGs. You fucking took everything you could. You beat the boss. Their health bar is gone, and then they go to the cutscene, and they're just like,
and they win,
and they're not even sweating. Then your team's just like, oh, they're all wounded and they're panting, and the boss is just like, yeah. And then they just leave for some stupid reason. Like, what the fuck? Why did I just spend?
Bro, just do this halfway through his health or something. Don't make me do the whole damn thing. Makes no sense.
Boss battles where you don't actually beat that boss.
Yeah, it's dumb.
That to me drives me crazy. And Final Fantasy VII does that shit. Like, this dude, like, he wasn't even remotely injured after you get his health bar down.
Well, Xenoblade does that shit too. So.
And it's like, what the fuck? Like.
I think a lot of RPGs do that shit.
Yeah, I think it's a Japanese.
Yeah.
JRPG thing.
And it'll be an intense fucking battle. And you're like, bitch, you need to be dead after all that work I just put in.
Exactly. It just, to me, it just feels like I just wasted my time. Like, at least have him injured like or something. But,
he's just talking like normal. Get that shit out of here, man. I just whooped your ass.
Terrell's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I like
Terrell's
that.
Terrell's like, that's how it is, bro. That's normal shit to me.
Because in Ghost of Tsushima, it makes sense. You fight the final boss right away, and he kicks your ass, which starts basically the story. Yeah. Like, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, but that's perfect. That's essentially like, now you want to fight him because you got your ass whooped.
I actually felt like I want to fight. Like, I'm actually invested now because he beat me.
Well, shit where, again, that's a narrative thing. Like, you go up against, like, I'm thinking about Shenmue, and you go up against Lan Di at the beginning, and he kills your dad, and he whoops your ass. And it was like, okay, well, he's way better a fighter than me. So it makes sense for me not to beat him the first battle we have. It's narrative. I get it. The only thing that sucks is you still haven't refought him in 20 goddamn years. Thanks a lot, Yu Suzuki. You ain't doing shit over there. Waiting all this time to fight this guy who killed my dad, and you gonna give me some bullshit ass Shenmue 3 that doesn't even touch any of that shit. But yeah, so
the score just said, me as someone just playing the game looks more worn out than the boss who just got his ass kicked. Yeah, you're actually physically worn out from going through that fight,
physically and mentally, man.
And then just like, yeah, that was nice practice or something. The dude, the villain says shit like, no, I just can't.
And you're just like, no, and shit.
Like Bayonetta, you beat the guy. What was his name? In the first game, the main villain. Well, he was like he's basically a male version of
Donnie. Is that true? What the fuck? That's true for Bravely Default too. I never did New Game Plus, so I didn't know. What the fuck?
That's hilarious.
To be fair, give context. Bravely Default is probably the most annoying RPG I've played with endings, because it does that thing where you fight it the first time and it's a bad ending, but you have to die in order to get the good ending, and then you have to fight him again to get the neutral ending. So you have to die about 3 fucking times intentionally to get the best ending. And I'm just like, bruh.
Some From Software shit.
Can't do this.
I'm like, why? Well, it's not like, because what they do is they do that. I don't know if you guys ever have issues with this, where you win in the battle but you lose in the cutscene type shit. That shit drives me up the fucking wall, bro. The fucking be like, yeah, just beat the brakes off you. Oh, he's so tough. What?
Yeah.
I was winning, huh?
In Elden Ring, it's the final boss. Wait, I didn't know it was the final boss. some just character out of nowhere, and he's got this long ass sword and just whooping my ass, and I'm using my basically you can clone yourself and it fights for you, and it has whatever weapons you have on, that's what it attacks with. You can use it once, and then I'm using all my health potions. I mean, I literally have a sliver of health. I finally get him, and and he's like falls, and then all of a sudden scrumbling, and this giant fucking like deer, like, I mean, just scream. I mean, it's huge. Just gets up, and I'm like, oh, this thing has a full health bar, and I have a sliver, one little fucking hit, and I'm dead. I'm like, how am I gonna beat this motherfucker? Like, that was some frustrating.
That's just the first game. But can you imagine getting to the third goddamn game in the series and doing what eventually which really breaks down to like a fucking QTE fight. Getting to the third game to the guy who killed your dad. QTE, oh, we lost, so he got away. That's it, bitch. You ever wait 20 goddamn years for that?
I didn't know you played Shenmue 3.
You. Fuck you.
You actually played Shenmue 3?
No, I've seen reviews and people talk about it. I was so pissed had I not seen that ahead of time. Now I don't care as much because I know it's not going to lead to anything, but
it's so shitty.
It's shitty, bro.
It's so shitty.
Yeah,
what do you get all that money for? What are you doing?
I can't think of anything boss fights.
Retro Death, I mean, I see what you're going with. Retro talks about when a game forces you to lose a battle that you could probably actually win. I mean, the problem with that is you won't know because you're only like a portion through the fight. Like
sometimes,
some fights are literally.
Hellblade did that where I didn't know I was supposed to. I'm just fighting for like 30 minutes. I'm just dodging, attacking, and you're supposed to fall right there. That starts.
See, the only thing I don't like. That's the thing I don't like. I don't like when a game knows that it's a battle I can't win. But like, give me an example. Xenoblade will do that thing too, where like you're in the middle of a fight that you're not supposed to win. So either if you don't just straight out die, you have to at least last to a certain time, and then it'll just automatically jump into the cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There are some games where you have to literally lose before it triggers the cutscene. And I'm just like, well, if I'm decent at the game and my goal isn't to die, and there's no like hint that I'm, there's no way for me to know that I'm supposed to lose this.
And you're using all your health shit. A lot of time I'll be using my health things. Oh my god! I just used all that up for a cutscene.
A lot recently, Jedi Fallen Order. I'm trying to finish the bitch. That's why I'm talking about it. But there's this Jedi Fallen Order. For those who haven't played it, it's a Metroidvania game where you level up. You see shit you can't get through, like certain walls that you had to use force powers to break through, but you can't get that force power. So there's a lot of backtrack. The map literally looks like fucking Metroid Prime's map. It looks just like it.
It does.
It's like, oh goddamn, you guys really stole this shit. But I mean,
I love that part.
That's one of the things I love about it. But you get to this fight with Ninth Sister. How many fucking sisters are there? How many sisters and brothers are there when it comes to the Inquisitors and shit? They're all over the place. And I'm like, I'm leveled up. Because you got a skill tree. I'm maxing out my skill tree. I'm feeling good. I'm like, oh. At first I was getting my ass handed to me by little spiders and shit. And now I'm like, I'm a fucking Jedi, bitch. I'm murking shit. And I feel really good. I go into this battle with Ninth Sister. She beats me the first time. And I'm like, okay, I have to actually put strategy into this. I can't just swing my fucking lightsaber around and throw my force powers around. I gotta really watch the patterns and see what she does. And I fucking do that, and I feel great. I cut the bitch's hand off, and she basically runs away at the end of the fight. What? What? You got away? I cut your goddamn hand off in a fucking cutscene, and you just you don't know anything, little Jedi, and took off. I'm like,
I hate that too.
Yo, actually, Donnie brings up another one, and I forget about these, but these happen in RPGs too, where you fight the boss, right? And you're not supposed to win, but you still have to make it to a certain point in the boss in order for the shit to trigger. So if you die before you hit that point in the fight, it still counts as a game over and you have to redo the fight. But it's another one of those.
That's Jedi Fallen Order in a nutshell. That happens so much in that goddamn game.
Oh, see that shit
Yeah.
that will drive you up a fucking.
That's my
wall.
one main issue with that game is that you get to it's the halfway and
Yeah.
XP point, and then
Yeah.
it triggers the cutscene.
Yeah.
Ah, ha, ha, fuck you, I'm out.
Yeah.
You're like, come on, man.
Or what Horizon does that be one of my few complaints is it goes to the cutscene, and this villainous character, I forget her name, and there's so much opportunity just to draw a bow and shoot her, and Ayla just doesn't even. She just stands there. Or she's like they're like talking back, and then they let her get away. I'm like,
yeah, it's all bad writing.
I mean, I just killed this fucking giant ass bird with my bow and arrow. Why can't I just plop her in the head?
See, you know what? You know what that reminds me of, Juice? That reminds me of that God of War shit, where I'm like, I know how strong I am in the game currently, and then in the cutscene, I'm supposedly limited all of a sudden by what I can and can't do. So I'm fighting certain enemies, and I'm like, Kratos, you have like a full skill tree I've unlocked. The fuck are you doing? Just fucking use half the moves I use. Well, of course, the game has to keep going, so we can't acknowledge that you have those abilities and combos. And in God of War's case, it was more offensive because I'm like, man, you've beaten gods, damn it! Like, the fuck are we doing here?
Well, that one
struggling.
Dude couldn't die. Couldn't.
Well, no, I understand that. No, I understood that in the plot. But I'm just saying, like, that shit irks me when certain sequences
takes over.
See, I didn't notice that. Honestly,
shit, in the game.
God of War more often than that. I felt like in the cutscenes he was doing shit I couldn't do, like scaling up that dragon and doing all this crazy shit. And here,
I want to be able to do that shit.
Yeah. But that was a good trip down memory lane for some annoying boss fights in the past too. I was just thinking about the Metal Gear.
Thanks,
Solid.
Ratchet and Clank.
The very first Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear was that boss felt so cheap to me. You can't even see the fucker because of the camera. You can barely see the thing.
Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah. And I couldn't even touch him for like multiple hours. And then I was like, fuck this. I picked it up the next day, maybe 2 days later, and one try. I had like barely took a hit.
There's bosses like that too.
Which one?
Like, fuck you.
What boss?
I will say, since we're still on bosses, I'll mention this because No More Heroes 3 does this. So, but it's not like the whole fight. But I'll go ahead and say because it irks the shit out of me. Bosses, if it's like a game like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry or No More Heroes, where it's like a bunch of fast-paced action, right? And you're used to being able to like combo the fuck out of an enemy, but then they present you with a boss that is literally set up in a way that it's only vulnerable in a certain time window. You do like 2 or 3 hits of damage, and then you have to go through its full cycle of moves before you can do any damage on it again. And I'm just like,
video game shit.
I'm like, I get what you're doing, but it's fucking lame because every other boss, if I'm good enough, I can just bypass this bullshit and kill him. With him, I gotta wait. Well, he's across the screen, or he's fucking giant, and he's on like these platforms I gotta jump over to get to him.
Or
I'm
the
like,
boss will leap so you can't hit it anymore.
Yeah, he'll leap like you're in a coliseum or some shit, and he'll jump out of the coliseum. So you have to fight a bunch of mooks and shit, and then he decides to jump back down.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah, that's
it's
the
basically
whole
RPG at that point because it's like, all right, now it's my turn to throw punches. You have to stand there and wait.
Well, Resident Evil 3 does that with Nemesis.
Your turn.
Nemesis does that multiple times, where he
Yeah.
jumps away.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's like,
He does.
fuck, you know.
Now it's time to dodge. This is the dodge segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
it's funny talking about Coliseum. There's in Perfect Dark Zero, very Zhang the very last boss. You're in a Coliseum and he's actually jumping away and he'll jump back. It's a very easy boss, but it's such a stupid one that I can't help but laugh at that one. Because
if we're going into the logic of the story, I'm like, well, if you're gonna do that anyway, wouldn't the most logical thing to do is just to stay in the back and then just constantly have fucking enemies swarm the person? Like,
right?
Why would does that though?
Why would you make yourself vulnerable when clearly I can't do a goddamn thing when you go over there and stand on the side of the building and shit, and I can't do shit?
Forgot that Rift Apart does that. You'll have a boss, and then he'll be like, oh, and then he'll go away for a little bit, and then there'll be a bunch of enemies.
Of course it does.
And then he'll come back in and like, oh,
hell, that happens in Luigi's Mansion too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking specifically of the fucking, I can't remember which. the dance fight or whatever. The
Oh, you're talking
Okay.
about
that was fun though.
Yeah,
like,
it's fun
Yeah.
though. That game.
you
That
gotta
game's
wait
too fun to.
to get your
Yeah,
Yeah, no one likes bosses that force you to wait an unnecessary amount of time for them to become vulnerable again. Now, if it's one of those things where you have to like grab an item and hit them with it to trigger them becoming vulnerable, that's fine because I can control when I go get the item and throw it at the enemy. I just have to be quick about it. If I'm good enough, I can hit them with it early and go right into some more hits. But like the shit where they're jumping out of arenas or making themselves invulnerable, to me, it's fucking.
I also don't like you have to take out the tower between hits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that type of shit where
You have to like deviate your time and shit.
power from something, and you have to destroy it first before you can get a hit in, and then that kind of shit.
Okay, Half-Life, that was.
Halo does
I feel like
that.
Spider-Man had
does
something
that
like
shit,
that too, where you had to
and
like
it's
hit
just
the
like,
towers.
I'm half and half with that because that does bring its own level of challenge to it. I guess, but I would agree that it makes the ball seem worse
it
overall.
seems boring. And you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, this is the pattern, and I gotta wait for him. Like, I wish it would change it up. Do that shit once, and then do something different the next time. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like it, yeah, pretty much switch up the phases and shit where like it's not the same thing. Yeah, I can see that.
I will say that as much as I don't love the like ridiculously hard boss fights in like Elden Ring, that's still better than some lame ass like all the shit we're talking about. I mean, yeah, they have just really ridiculous moves, but if you're good, you can go, pretty much you're gonna get through the boss fight. Like, if you're really good at the game, then you don't have to worry. You can just beat the boss. You know, there's mid health bar transformations that you just watch a cutscene you can skip, but for the most part, the boss is just attacking you and you can attack it. You know, it's like you learn its moves.
Reward me for the skills I've acquired while playing this game.
I think that's why those games have gotten more popular over time, is because it does reward you. And imagine if you've played previous games, your skills are just going to build, even though it's a new game. I think Sekiro is the only one that's really different. Your skills can build, and then it's like, yeah, I can see why somebody can beat the game at 70 hours, and it took me 160. You know, because they got the skill, and it rewards you for it.
Also, Retro, I will always.
That is the worst. Hey, it's RJ.
Also, I will agree, Retro. That's
summoning enemies that heal them. Fuck off with that.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Healing enemies.
Healing shit is annoying, bro.
Fuck off with that, bro.
Healing. It might have been
somebody does that.
The one I played recently did that, and I'm like, get this shit out of here.
I will agree with Retro. One of the things that annoys me about bosses is that when you go through a game doing certain mechanics, like you have a certain strategy that works completely on every other enemy in the game, you get to the boss. Oh well, he's just immune to it. So like for Xenoblade, for example, you can't fucking break, you can't topple an enemy and shit because they're bosses, so they're just randomly immune to that status effect.
Yeah, that's annoying. It's
and I'm like, so
come on, man. I've been training this entire fucking time to do
this.
Well,
it irks me where every other enemy in the game can be fucked up by it, but this because it's a boss. Or even Devil May Cry does that shit where like you're in the middle of a fight and then the character, like I think it was with the Virgil fights, where the character just becomes invincible for a second. And I'm like, well, that's fucking lame because you can just turn that off. Say what?
Metroid Prime. I almost quit that shit because of the Omega Pirate. I'm like, fuck you with this re-healing shit. I can't.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, this is a really cool boss battle. I'm using all my visors and shit. It's very cool. And you do this cheese ass regenerating health shit. The first one.
That's in the first one?
Yeah, Mega Pirate.
You talking about the massive dude?
Fucking game over that.
Very big guy.
Yeah, you have to change your visor to see him and shit.
Okay.
He's like,
yeah, the one I struggled the most with was the Ridley fight right near the end on hard mode. That one I couldn't get past.
I will say that part of the reason why I like the Jean fight in Bayonetta 1 so much is that's just a visceral fight. We're just throwing hands the whole fucking fight. That's just and that's one reason why I can't stand when fights do that whole invincibility bullshit. Because I'm like, how is it other fights are like just make the dude hard, make the boss hard. Don't do this dumb shit. Yeah. Where they're hiding from me or they're fucking
cheat to make the shit.
Or they start teleporting in different areas that you have to go. Oh, there's a Bloodborne fight that I absolutely hate. the boss that you have to chase halfway through it into like another room or some shit. So it's like they turn the final boss into like almost a level. So like there's a boss in Bloodborne where you fight him for about half health and then he'll run away and run around the fucking area and you have to chase him into the next room. Huh?
I don't remember that.
He's wearing the fucking. He has snakes come out of his arm and shit, and he has like the helmet on, and he shoots like fucking magical projectiles at you. He
I don't think I fought anything like that.
It's like Nikolai or something. I forget.
Yeah,
Nikolai.
I don't think I fought him.
Was he optional, or did I just? I didn't. I fought him. That is the worst fight.
That doesn't sound familiar on anything you described.
I'll show
you. You could have avoided it.
I might have beat him before he got to run away. So
imagine doing that and having the control mechanics of fucking Witcher 3.
Oh no!
Oh my god, the fucking Wild Hunt. That's some bullshit. Fucking 10-hour fights and shit. That doesn't have to be that goddamn long.
Bro, that's how it was fucking Witcher 1. Oh, that was that really.
Played Witcher 1 too,
these dudes would literally stun you, and you can't do anything. You literally just stand still for like 7 seconds, and they just wail at you, and you just automatically die. And I was like, "What the fuck is this? That's bullshit.
Well,
that's not even remotely like, oh yeah, they could just stun you for like 7 seconds because they can." And
or
it's
you
like,
go into a fucking,
what?
you go, like, before you get to the actual big battle, you go into the goddamn room where they're spawning shit, and you, what's her name, the witch chick, she makes these little orb areas, because outside of the orb is freezing cold, so you have to use these shitty Witcher 3 mechanics and stay inside of the little orbs while things are attacking you, and it's the most bullshit fight I've ever played in a goddamn game. It's like, really? It's already hard enough to control fucking Geralt's ass in this game, and now I have to be stuck in this little bubble area while things can run inside. They can run in and out of that bubble and attack me and shit, but I'm stuck inside the bubble because of the
I remember him.
I freeze to death. I'm like, fuck this.
Oh,
Yeah,
you about to say that is.
I ran around for like 15 minutes. I couldn't find where he went.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
That's what I said. That's the one I cannot stand. The
That
fucking.
was annoying.
I gotta run through the damn level to find him, then fight him, and then he'll run away.
In games that are really good up to that point, you're gonna pull this shit now after all this glorious battles I've been doing. You're gonna pull this kind of cheap ass bullshit now.
Yeah, that's annoying.
If it's in a game where all the battles are like that, whatever. Yeah, like that. This game sucks when it comes to boss battles. But if you're in a game where you just had a really good fucking boss battle, and this is your next shit you face, I'm like, man, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah. That's why I think boss battles are probably the hardest things to consistently get done. I don't know many games that have consistently good boss battles.
Yeah, man, I agree that I think not as many people realize that. I feel like I play a lot of games that boss battles are okay.
Fucking Zelda, Ocarina of Time. You go to the water temple, glorious fucking level. Like, it's tough. It's it's universally known to be tough. And you fight a fucking snake with a brain in the end of it, with spikes all around the fucking pool. That's your I'm like, really? After all this shit I just went through, this is the best you can come up with? A fucking abyss snake from the movie Abyss? A snake from that with a brain at the end? Get this shit out of here, man.
Man, I didn't even know Bloodborne had this sword, Terrell. I need to start another place.
Oh no, that's not my fault. I mean, I just grabbed the video.
I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, there's a good amount of
direct partner showcase with the cheese boss battles at the end.
And Eric brought up Ninja Gaiden. Well, I brought up Ninja Gaiden, but
fuck Ninja Gaiden.
Those enemies, the claw guys that you couldn't fucking hit.
Ninja Gaiden is notorious.
That was annoying.
Like all the way back to the 2D ones. I remember fighting I forget the final boss in Ninja Gaiden 2. It took me fucking I literally probably died like fucking 90 times because luckily the game will spawn your ass back like right before that battle. Some of those Ninja Gaiden games will put your ass all the way back to the beginning of the level and shit. Fuck that.
Just like Metroid.
I wouldn't even
Metroid didn't have a save, so you have to rebuild up all your fucking health. You have to go stand by things popping up and just constantly shoot them.
Yeah, so much fun when you're sitting next to a pipe with fucking bees flying out of it, and you're just trying to level up
15 minutes.
XP. It's just
Of course,
That's the kind of stuff.
Darksiders 2 has the best boss battles according to Retro.
Well, his bias has Wonderful 101 had really good boss fights too.
Darksiders 2 did have some really good boss battles. I can't think of one that was just terrible. I love the fact that because I hadn't played like what do you call them, Dark Souls games. I love the fact that you can run into a bitch that you can't handle yet, and oh shit, I got you don't really run into them. It's a surprise. Like you'll find a little secret area or some shit. I'm like, oh, what's this? And you go in there and there's some fucking troll that's just will spank your ass, and I love that. But none of the battles are cheap. The boss battles are all really good.
That's the way that's kind of how I view Bloodborne, where like the area is the level cap. Like if you can survive the area, usually you can handle the boss of that area. That's usually how they win. Because there are certain enemies that were worse than certain bosses depending on where the fuck you were at. But yeah, I'm just looking at chat. Yeah, Wonderful 101 had really good bosses. Wonderful 101.
Oh yeah, Wonderful 101 had great.
101 was one of the few games that mixed up its bosses. My favorite one's still
the annoying can't hurt the boss shit too.
It did. I mean, it did have those tropes in there.
Yeah, you're not gonna. Unfortunately, even the best of games, you're still going. Right. They will always be a boss that does that fuckery. Unfortunately, that's why I was happy with even the one thing I don't like about Bayonetta 1. Bayonetta 1 does that shit where you have keep away bosses, where you have to do some in the first game is that the 3-headed Hydra looking thing.
Right.
It's all the way in the back, and he's blowing up the platform you're standing on.
You gotta wait till it gets close.
Yeah, and then you can attack him.
You can do that, but you can still do it in a fun way. You know what I mean? Like, as long as it's an interesting wait. You're not just standing there and shit.
And one of the worst boss also is I played more recently was the whole Mortal Kombat Special Forces. Is when how you know how you said you don't like when they run away from you? That's when fucking that dude Jirik, I'd be punching this guy, and he goes, oh, he gets you in 3 hits, and he'll start running away from you. And you're like, yo, why the fuck are you running away from me? And he'll throw shit at you. And you can't, trash-ass controls. And Jack's just slowly running towards him, and you try to fight him, and he goes, don't, and then say you're dead, and you're like, oh my god, fuck this game. This shit sucks.
I feel like the only reason why they do that for boss design is literally like, fuck, we're giving you too many tools to beat the brakes out of these bosses. We can't just let you get free hits the whole time. So we're gonna make him invincible. We're gonna make
low-level enemies.
Yeah, we're gonna make him, and we're gonna make him temporarily invincible for a little while and shit. And I'm like, bruh, I feel like at that point you should have just given the boss better mechanics. Like I get
it, because that's the easy thing to do when you're creating bosses and shit. So that's why everybody does it.
Yeah.
I get that, but I just wish with new technology, the new AI and all that shit, that they can be able to come up with some better workarounds.
Yeah.
To that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because I think even Tropical Freeze had a couple of bosses where if you were good enough, you could smack them in the middle of their attack animations. Like, the reason why you would dodge
that kind of shit. What do they call that? There's a term for that. I can't think of it.
Where they're vulnerable. Technically, they're vulnerable all the time. You just literally have to
something break or something.
Sequence breaking.
It might be sequence. Yeah, it might be sequence breaking. Because they have a set list of animations they're gonna go through before they do a move that makes them vulnerable. So the trick is to get them to loop or to break that sequence of animations, so you can just straight out attack them. Like you attacking them resets their animations essentially.
Well, I love doing that in even stuff like Super Mario Galaxy, man. I mean, you want to talk about good ass boss battles? Galaxy, perfect game, but just like taking, fighting Boulder Geist. And remember the guy with the rocks, and he's like going like that, and you could kind of get him through midway before he starts like throwing up spikes. You could start like hitting him early on. Those are always nice. Yeah, when you could kind of break what they're about to do.
When it comes to that kind of stuff, because they actually really think about that sequences and all that stuff in their fight and the boss.
Oh yeah, I fucking that's one of the things I like about Cuphead a lot. If you're smart enough and you know when to use your supers, you can literally super a boss right in the middle of its transition phase into its next phase, and then the next phase only lasts like a couple minutes because you've already cut off half its health.
What about where you use like a super powerful move? They're right before half their health bar, and it should take like a quarter of their
Oh,
health, and it just takes a sliver and goes to the cutscene, and you just waste all the special.
That pisses me off so much.
That's the trade-off. That's the trade-off with the cinematic bosses. Either you hit them, and you can only get them down to their cutscene health to trigger the cutscene, or they should make it where you can sequence break it, meaning it'll still trigger the cutscene, but their health is actually as low as it's supposed to be. They lock it. I don't know why I know why they lock it, because that's the trigger. That's the trigger percentage of their health. But like, then it's like, well, what the fuck? And then you got insta kill weapons, like in Resident Evil, where you get the the rocket launcher in 2, and you can just one shot a boss for the fuck of it. Some of that shit's just.
Well, I hate when bosses one shot you. That's another thing. I don't like that at all in the slice. I think that's just pure trash design. You can't have one and a boss actually destroy a whole party member like an RPG or something. Like, no, come on, that's just stupid.
My problem is that every time it happens with a boss, you're never told in advance or given a warning that it's an insta-kill move. What they'll do is they'll be like, oh, well, maybe you should defend this turn. And sometimes I'll fucking defend the turn and still dodge of the move. Why? Oh, because it's the one move that ignores defense stats. Fuck you, game. Just let me just like either A, don't give him the move, or B, like warn me before going into the fight. It guarantees it's gonna take me at least 2 tries to kill the boss, because you've essentially said, well, I'm not gonna warn you when it happens. Oh yeah, Batgirl for No More Hero 1. She does have a 1 hit kill, and it's the worst fucking thing in the game. I was so mad when I fucking found this out. So what Batgirl does is she'll do this shit where she automatically starts crying. And you're like, okay. And but it lasts for a while. So the first time it happened to me, I'm like, I don't know if I'm supposed to just run up and hit her. I'm thinking it's a counter of some sort. Well, it is. It's a counter that leads right into a 1-hit kill. There is no like, if you attack her in the middle of her crying animation, she immediately goes into the cutscene where she knocks you over and breaks your fucking skull, and it's a 1-hit kill. I'm like, when? There's no other boss in the game that does this. Why in the fuck is this bitch? Because she's crying. I hate it because it seems like something that it shouldn't have happened. Batgirl.
Number Heroes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I was warned about that one, because that one genuinely pissed me off. I'm like, what the fuck? How are you supposed to know that was 1-hit kill?
I'm just
I hate
trying
that
to look
shit.
through some screenshots, trying to remember some boss fights, but yeah, not seeing. Nothing comes to mind as far as like annoying ones. I did like the final boss in Fatal Frame, though. I remember being pretty.
Oh, that's the one, because
one.
You know the problem with that one is, though, you talking about Fatal Frame 5, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is
the thing with that. The thing with that boss is that technically there's 3 endings, and you have to do something different every time you fight the bitch. Either you have to die to her, which you wouldn't think to do. You have to die to her at a certain point in it too. The other one, you have to kill her, but not all the way. And then the third time, you just kill her normally. And I was like, and I went through every one of those endings because I wanted them. But some of them I don't understand how the fuck you were supposed to get on your first try.
Yeah, I just had to read up on how to do the different
Yeah,
ones.
exactly. I respect multiple ways of beating a boss, but I don't know if I like it enough when it's cryptic to where I have to Google it. If I have to Google it, that means you didn't give me enough of a hint.
Right. You didn't give me the information I needed to be able to handle this.
Especially if it's a game that doesn't do that as a normal mechanic. Like if it's not a normal mechanic in the game already. Although I do
in modern games, you can get away with that shit in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Early 2000s even. But in modern games, if you don't give me the information I need, I have to Google some shit.
You know, one thing I do hate a lot is when final bosses throw a completely different game mechanic that you've never used in the game, but it only pops up in the boss fight. And and they make it a part of the final boss, and you're just like, why would you do that? I would say, off the top of my head, the closest thing I can think of off the top of my head that did that, and it's not completely it, is I would say Crash 3 does that with the jetpack shit that you have to do, kind of, because it's only in like
Crash 3, yeah.
Because it's only in like a couple levels, and then they're just like, well, now you're doing it for the boss fight. I'm like, hell, and I think in Crash, you don't even have to do all the levels to do that. So you could easily skip the jetpack level and never have to do it.
Right.
So I don't know. Oh,
Anyway,
Sonic does it. Sonic does that in Bad Bosses.
I think we can wrap this up, but that was a good discussion about, because there is a lot of bullshit, boss and just regular enemy fights. So remember, if you think of one, if you're watching this, put it in the comments below. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this podcast. So thanks you guys for tuning in. And we're talking about maybe moving to Sundays. I didn't see everybody reply to that. So
yeah, who here?
I'm good with Sunday, same time as usual.
Same time.
It can be anytime. 5 o'clock. We start earlier for Clocked sake.
Yeah, we can do earlier.
I think it's doable. Yeah, it should
Robert?
be fine.
If it was earlier, probably, yeah.
How's earlier?
Like 5, like you're saying.
5. Okay. Yeah, I think that wouldn't be a bad idea, because Mondays after work and stuff, sometimes I got to rush to cook. Everybody's got to sometimes eating when we start the podcast. So yeah, I think we're gonna consider that
Sundays.
So maybe even start it next.
That's what we
week.
used to do with Gamers at Large and all that shit.
So
used to be Sunday night.
But yeah, so look for that maybe next week to start. So but until then, everybody.
That way we can get everybody in here, man.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you next time.